issues.
We'd be talking about how great they are, and hopefully the offense can catch up.
And by the way, Bob, you and I have said, we've said before, that you can't just expect to replicate 2024.
Right.
In regards to health, in regards to performance. However, this is like, flipped on its head.
It's pretty extreme.
Yeah.
It was fair to expect, okay, they're not going to live up in some aspects to what they did last year, but, I mean, you don't anticipate injuries. It's always a possibility, but to have your, two of the four that are, amongst the best in baseball out of your rotation. I don't know what's going on with Bryce Miller. Emerson Hancock's getting thrown in there. He's not of the same caliber, in my opinion, as those guys. We talked about the ceiling and all of that.
Today, you're right. He's not.
Yeah. And quickly, Dan Wilson talking after the game last night about, what he liked about the offense despite the loss.
In terms of the game, I thought Emerson threw the ball pretty well for us there, those first 4 innings, couple of jams, second and the fourth with some walks, but able to get out of it. They were able to get to him there in the fifth. Just a couple balls that caught some plate. And then, our guys continued to come back. I thought, obviously Julio and Polo with the big home runs early, and then Cal later on. Randy swinging the bat very well, getting on base, continuing to extend his streak. But tough one all around tonight.
Yeah, I mean, offensively speaking, they put up enough runs where you feel like, you score 5 runs, you score 6 runs, you should win a game. Problem is you give up 11. So the offense bounced back after scoring just 7 total runs in 3 games against the Blue Jays. So that part was nice to see. But just back to the rotation, you guys can answer this, 866-979-3776. Who do you trust in this rotation right now? When you see the name on the sheet, this is the matchup, okay, I like our chances today.
The guy who's pitching tonight, Brian Wu, and I know he's coming off 5 runs to the Athletics, but there was so much good to take away from that game. And by the way, you're going 6.
Yes.
The one foundational piece to this rotation in regards to trust and in regards to who you lean on is just some of that efficiency to get beyond the 5th inning. Because, we know the residual effect that has is on the bullpen.
Yep.
Which is, the bullpen is
getting worked.
And we know that in turn has a residual effect as you get deeper on in this season.
Yeah, I'm with you on Wu. I came into the season saying I felt like he was the second best pitcher. I was like, there's Logan, and I think based on what we saw last year, Wu was dominant when he got going. He was special. We'll see if he can continue that throughout the season. And you're right, that last start he didn't have it. It was not a good start, but he was able to give him 6.
Yep.
Which is a big deal. I mean, this is 4 starts in a row where they've gone just 5 innings.
And this year there's been just a couple times where he has learned a ton of really good stuff. Like, for example, there's a start against the Texas Rangers, the start last time against the Athletics, where he gives up some runs and he doesn't all of a sudden go to plan B, start pitching away from contact. And this is really important against this lineup you're facing tonight. And 2, doesn't let the frustration overwhelm him, which is massive. But, yeah, he's been so impressive this year, Brian Wu. So he's going tonight against Max Fried. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, looking forward to that. We'll talk more about that matchup and other things going on with this team. Meanwhile, a historic ruling in Major League Baseball just happened. We're going to weigh in on that coming up next live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
After a month as baseball's hottest team, the Mariners have hit a bump in the road.
Julio back. He spins around at the wall, makes a leap. It's gone.
Tough one all around tonight.
I found myself thinking about these 2 Dan Wilsons.
So I'll just stick with the confidence building, Dan. Wants these guys to be empowered.
Tonight, he's been the Mariners' ace so far this season. Can Brian Wu deliver a sorely needed dub? Mariners, Yankees. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners. Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance insurance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at MuckleshootCasino.com.
Muckleshoot.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Michael Bumpus here, and golfers, how does a golf handicap level up your game? First, it levels the playing field so you can compete with golfers of any skill level. 2, shooting par isn't realistic for many of us, so a handicap can set achievable goals on your actual skill level. Lastly, tracking your progress helps you set goals towards improvement like I have. You can get a handicap index in 3 easy steps. Sign up for a handicap ID, post your scores, and after 3 18-hole rounds, you got it. To learn more, visit wagolf.org/710.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new replacement right now. That's huge. $1,000 off. Quite the incentive for homeowners to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and it really is a great time to do it. These days are getting long, right? Sunsets after 8 o'clock. Crews can get your roof done quick. So take advantage now before demand spikes this summer, making those repairs costly and time-consuming as well. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from the website, riversideroofingllc.com, and then you'll meet with Brandon, that's Don's son. Just tell him you heard the message here in the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket, and yes, a brand new roof over your head. And while you're there, ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the nation, and of course the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. Remember, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. We got Ryan Roland Smith in, watching Ichiro out there in the outfield, shagging fly balls. Luke Raley out there throwing. I love watching Ichiro out there. I love it. I hope he's out there when he's 70 years old.
Yeah, me too. You know what?
Great.
We were talking about this before we came on because he's been out there for a while playing catch. What's he running? Sprints? Oh, no, he's catching fly balls. But he run. You know what? Ichiro, there's no one else on the planet like him. He is unique. There's no other Ichiro. So therefore, if he wants to go and do cartwheels in the stands during the game, that's normal. That's what you do because you're Ichiro. That's it.
I just appreciate a guy who loves the game that much.
Absolutely.
Financially, he's got no reason to be here. He's got no, need.
He's not hanging out. Hey, can I coach minor league baseball?
Yeah, he's not
to
looking
try
to
and
make
work
a
my way to the
living.
big
He's
leagues so I can pay the bills. No,
he's set. He could be on a beach somewhere around the world for the rest of his life and
do whatever he wants.
Exactly, but here he is. He's able to see him at spring training. He's the first guy out, last guy. It's just, I love it. I love it. All right, let's get to take two.
Well, ESPN senior writer Don Van Natta Jr. broke the news about an hour ago that Pete Rose has been reinstated by Rob Manfred from MLB's permanently ineligible list. So that means he now could be voted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, and so can shoeless Joe Jackson, part of the Black Sox scandal. So, look, I think it's great, and we'll get into more detail on this topic and what it means to other guys, the steroid guys, all that. But I think just the ability to be on the ballot, to be voted upon. This is an automatic entry into the Hall of Fame. This is all right. At least you can let those that are the gatekeepers, if you will, allow them the opportunity to let you in or keep you out. It's going to be by vote, not by not just even being eligible to be on the ballot. So I think it's the right move.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you too. This guy was famous for being a hard-nosed player, and he was the example on the field.
Yep.
How you want to teach the game to play the right way.
Charlie Hustle.
And again, you talk about being famous. I grew up in a country that baseball, no one knew who baseball players were, but they knew who Pete Rose was. Coming from guys, rugby players knew who he was because it's a non-contact sport. So there's an element of not being tough and everything else. Well, he was that, man, and I'm with you absolutely. And it's kind of frustrating that he's not alive to be there to hear the news.
Well, I kind of told you guys about the international games having the potential of the Seahawks. Ryan was explaining the international games to you. The Seahawks are not going to be one of them. No,
Did he dumb it down for you?
To football.
What were you doing, finger puppets over here?
He made it sound like he had a great sport.
So the Seahawks usually play in that stadium.
Over there.
Gotcha. Sometimes they don't, and they play in another country.
Gotcha.
They will not be playing in another country. Those games against the Jags and the Steelers, they were not drawn as the Seahawks as the opponent. But some history being made. This is strange. So from an athlete perspective and then just from a fan perspective as well, don't know how you guys feel about this. The Vikings are staying back-to-back weeks abroad. They're going week 4 in Dublin, playing the Steelers, and then playing the Browns in London the next week.
Wow. So is one a road game?
They're both road games.
They're both road games.
So they don't lose any home games. They're both road games, but they're staying over there the entire time.
Wow.
Interesting.
First team to ever do that.
I will be anxious to see what their response is after that. If players are like, it took me a week to get acclimated again to the time difference. I didn't feel right. I just being over there for 2 weeks and coming back, I'm going to be very interested to see if there is any fun. Maybe it'll be no problem and it'll be something they do more often.
No, I get the second game. You can't really sit there and say, well, I'm jet lagged. But I don't know how you facilitate all the happenings, as you guys know, because you guys see it every day. Everything that they have to facilitate away from the game. In other words, like the training sessions, the video, the facilitating 210, all that. But the jet lag going that way from the United States to Europe, it's full on. And then all of a sudden now you're there all of a sudden for long period, man.
How long does it take to? I mean, because you obviously Australia is further. That's a long.
Well, flying to Australia, no problem jet lag. In my 20+ years of flying there, fly there, get there in the morning.
You're fine.
All good. Sleep that night. Coming this way, I'm telling you, 20+ years. And I flew to London to do that London series. Man, I was there for 5 days. I was cooked the whole time, man. Like,
Really?
yeah. And you have to force it to get out of bed early in the morning. The whole bit. That's tough. And I know that these guys already dealt with it, but man, you're all of a sudden you get acclimated, then you come back to the States, and you got to deal with it coming back as well.
And that's why I'm glad the Seahawks are not part of it. That's why I'm glad. I did not want them to do one of these international games. I certainly don't want them to take away a home game. I feel bad for the fans that lose a home game to an international game. Plus, again, what you're talking about, I don't know how that impacts their next game. Yeah. If they go out and they look lethargic and they go out there and get their tail kicked because they just didn't physically feel right because they had to go do this international game. So whatever benefits the Seahawks is what I'm for, and I think this benefits them, so I'm happy they're not doing it. Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Coming up, Jon Morosi will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk with Dylan Moore. He's going to join us up here in the booth. Also, before we get to all that, just quickly, we're talking about the bullpen. And 4 starts in a row where their starters have each gone just 5 innings. So they're getting into that bullpen early. These guys are getting a lot of turns out there, a lot of pitches being thrown, seeing different guys struggle. I was looking at Troy Taylor's line. He's got 6 innings pitched so far this season. He's coming back from injury. He's allowed 8 runs in those 6 innings. Just by way of comparison, last year he threw 19 1/3 innings and allowed 8 runs. So he's allowed the same number of runs in less than half of the number of innings. So he's a guy who's struggling. Is he a guy that you look at and say, you know what, maybe if I'm Dan, he's a last resort in terms of high leverage situation. I don't go to him unless I have to.
Yeah, I think he's already sort of put him in that category. I'll put Troy Taylor in the Bryce Miller bucket in regards to dealing with something up here where there's confidence, there's a here we go again mentality where I have to make this perfect pitch or it's going to get hit hard. That slider is just not happening. He threw one yesterday. He bounced it and like he's overcompensating. Then they double up on it again and he's trying to be perfect with it and that thing just has that hump and then whack. Man, he's dealing with it right now. It's a tough place to be for sure.
Who do you – I asked you who you trust in the rotation. Who do you trust in the bullpen beyond Munoz? We all trust Munoz.
I'm going
right now. Yeah. Who's your guy? Like starter gets knocked out, can't start the 6th. It's we got to hold this team to where they're at. Who's that guy?
Gabe Spire and Matt Brash. Now Matt Brash is still there, slow playing him a little bit. And this is the other thing too, by the way, just on that. Yeah, so I'm going to answer your question. I'm going Gabe Spire, Matt Brash. Here's the other element too. When you got your starting rotation that's not going deep, you look out there and go, "Oh, maybe we can get Matt to." Not saying you want to burn him out,
right?
But you in a perfect world, you pitch him, maybe a couple back-to-backs in the near future, see how he responds. Now all of a sudden you're in a situation where it's like, okay, he's taken up a bullpen place, right? So you're limited in how much you can use him. There's that inkling like 4 o'clock in the next afternoon. Hey, Matt, how you feeling after last night? You're all good? There's that inkling to sort of push him a little harder. You never want that. Now, we had Arthur Rhodes coming back from TJ. That's how it was. You had to work around him, man. Right. Everyone else got worn out because of that.
Yeah, we'll certainly get into more of that. Meanwhile, we got a great combo of guests coming up. Jon Morosi is going to join us, and then he'll be followed by Dylan Moore. So all of that coming your way next. We are live at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Rowland-Smith in. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
A quick question / maybe unpopular take.
Yes.
I totally understand graduation gifts in high school.
Okay.
Here's $100. Here's this. Here's that. Like graduation gifts in college?
Why not? Almost more so. I think that would make sense.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you talked about setting someone up for the rest of their life. For the most part, you're going off for high school.
I mean, they've done that with their degree. Like, God bless them. You think it's appropriate, like, collegiate graduation gift?
Because then you're actually, like, going out to start a real life.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, your new South Sound headquarters for synthetic turf. Whether you're a DIY homeowner, contractor, or landscaper, they've got what you need. Premium turf in stock, expert advice, and all the tools to get the job done right. Want help with heavy lifting? Ask about their professional design and installation services. Conveniently located just off I-5 in Fife. Contact them today and save up to $1,000. Visit their new showroom at syntheticturfnorthwest.com. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Retail, wholesale, install, all in one place.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Hope springs eternal during the start of the season, but unfortunately, so do spring allergies. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that significantly reduces your postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're proud this year the Stern Sinus Center was just named a nationwide center of excellence. We're also excited to welcome another allergy surgeon and ear surgeon to our practice. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Mike's Western Suppliers and CL Western Apparel remind parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Please make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Mike's Western Suppliers and CL Western Apparel. Family owned and proudly serving our community for over 30 years.
I've never heard a person walk out of the stadium and say, wow, I wish that game would have included more waiting.
He is an endless source of baseball and hockey knowledge.
José de Ríos, el lanzador de Puerto Rico, el Clásico Mundial de Béisbol.
Jon Morosi, every week with Wyman and Bob.
You're being serious with me right now?
Ryan, you know how much I love talking baseball. I could talk your ear off for hours, but lucky for you, we bring in this guy to take some of the pressure off of you. So you're just like, all right, enough questions, Bob, enough.
Yeah,
Talk to somebody else.
This guy, he's just tough to deal with, man. He's one of those guys in the game that, you know what, you have to have him on because he's kind of smart, but, man, just not a good person away from the field. Yeah. Oh, what's up, JP?
Hey, Ryan, good
Jon
to see you.
Morosi.
Hey, let's not forget who found that lunch spot our first day in Taipei. Okay, let's not forget.
Dude, we were walking around in circles, man, looking for this like hole in the wall place in Taipei. This was in when was this? In November? Yeah, November, right?
November, Premier 12,
God,
right?
Man, time flies. Yeah, November. We're walking around in circles, sweating too. Yeah. I'm like, JP, where are we going?
And he found it.
He found it. It was legit.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
I'm still like my stomach is still full from that meal.
That was a great meal and surpassed only by the quality of the company, my friend. Great to be with you,
look at that.
and now as well.
We love it. We love talking baseball with Jon Morosi. Well, John, before we get into the what's going on with the Mariners and the Yankee series and what's been going on lately, I just want to get a quick reaction to the big news. Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson have been removed from MLB's permanently ineligible list. What's your feeling about that?
Well, a couple things. Number one, let's be clear about what it says and what it doesn't say. What it says is that it's now the interpretation of the commissioner's office and Commissioner Rob Manfred that ineligibility, that being on the permanent ineligible list, is a condition and status that exclusively refers to one's ability to be employed by a major league team or influence and be involved and associate with the Major League Baseball community in a direct way. And so the interpretation now, therefore, means that that ineligibility expires at the time of a person's death. This does not mean, I stress, does not mean that Pete Rose is going into the Hall of Fame or is even likely going to go into the Hall of Fame. What it does mean, though, is that it's now a matter for the Baseball Hall of Fame to consider. And there is a mechanism in place where people who are part of the Historical Review Committee will consider the candidacy of Rose at the appropriate time. I believe it's 2 years from now. And we will see what happens at that point. It is far from a sure thing, in my estimation, that Rose would make it onto the ballot for that group, let alone be approved by 3/4 of that group. It's a very, very steep hill to climb. But now he has a path. And I understand the rationale of the commissioner's office in making this decision. I would not personally vote for Rose in my circumstance. I would not feel comfortable with voting him. And indeed, the baseball writers, when there was one brief time where via write-in there was some sort of gap in the system of how he was considered, there was a brief moment in time where he actually appeared on the writer's ballot and was not well supported at all. So I do not believe this means that he will posthumously be elected into the Hall of Fame. I could be surprised by that, but this strictly has to do with MLB's by-the-books ruling, and that's where it sits as of this day. It's certainly a day I did not expect would happen as recently as 6 months ago, but here we are.
So just to be clear for the listeners, that this ruling today does not mean that Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson are now on the ballot to be voted upon.
Correct. There is a process. So there is. I love the question because it gets into the really granular parts about the Hall of Fame that I quite enjoy talking about. So we now have what are called era committees. the colloquial description for a long time was the Veterans Committee, because that committee is a 12-person committee or 16, that includes a combination of Hall of Famers, historians, writers, executives who have been in the game for a long time. Someone like a Pat Gillick has been on committees like this in the past. And so there's actually a screening committee first to consider names from a particular era. The dividing line is up till 1980 and then 1980 to present. I would expect that Rose will be on the first of those because the Big Red Machine, he's a 1970s player for all practical purposes. So he'll be considered on that ballot, the one that deals with the pre-1980. So again, in December of 27, he'll be considered. And so that committee will vet that group. Even if he makes it onto the ballot, then you're going to need to have 12 of the 16 electors to say, yes, I believe he deserves a spot. And so I just think that because of the somewhat deep-seated issues with Rule 21, gambling on baseball, the Pete Rose case is familiar to many. I think it's still a significant uphill climb, but he has a pathway, which was not the case as recently as yesterday, and certainly for a long time I never thought we'd get to this spot. But Rose's attorneys have made an appeal. We know President Trump made statements in support of Rose's case. I suppose it's possible that played some role here, and now we have to wait a long time, a couple years, but at least Rose now has a path that he didn't have before.
Yeah, JP, I've got a million questions about this, but I do want to switch gears with the Seattle Mariners and what we're currently seeing. A team last year that, arguably the best rotation in baseball, now all of a sudden they're having some real struggles with this rotation. Can you see this team surviving and winning the AL West? Now, I know George Kirby and Logan Gilbert are coming back, but let's say hypothetically, let's say at best they stay mid-range in their pitching. And, Bryce is having all kinds of issues, so is Luis Castillo. Can this team still be a team that wins the AL West with the current state of the starting pitching that we're seeing, or maybe a little bit better than what we're seeing, but not the elite of what we saw last year?
I do not believe they can win with the status quo of their starting rotation. So one of two things has to happen. Either Kirby and Gilbert have to come back and be something close to themselves, not necessarily 100% of what the numbers have been in the past, but let's say 80 or 90%. Or Castillo and Miller have to really get going again. Or they've got to add somebody from the outside. And fortunately for them, there should be a number of arms available depending on which teams are willing to move different assets. I look at a team like potentially Minnesota, depending on how things play out with them. They've played better of late, certainly, but Pablo Lopez, the one-time Mariner prospect, is someone that I would keep an eye on. But the general statement is that I do not believe that the current path for this team will be enough. Now, there's still a way to improve internally, and I'm sure that as a coaching staff and as individuals, they're working towards that. But they're going to have to be better. And some would say, well, John, how is that true, given the fact that they've still been a leading team in this division for so long? And that's true. But I think we all see this and realize the current burden on the bullpen and the current burden on the lineup is probably not sustainable. Munoz is throwing, I think, way too often. Certainly hasn't been the case the last 4 days or so, but he really has a heavy workload. And I worry about the way in which the bullpen has had to be utilized to keep this team in games. The lineup has done a very admirable job of keeping them in games and helping them win, but I just think that they need some help, whether it's a short-term pitcher to have acquired from the outside as a pending free agent. They have the prospects to do it, but this is where we need to see, I think, a little bit of well-timed aggressiveness from the front office to make this a reality.
What's your take on what we've seen from Luis Castillo? He's the oldest in the rotation, the highest paid. He's the guy that's got the longest track record. You know what he's been and what he's capable of, but I felt like he's been solid for the most part this year. He's a guy that doesn't go deep. He's not a guy that gives you 7, 8 innings, anything like that. But this last start, he got touched up. He's walked a lot more. He and Bryce Miller lead the team in walks. His velo's down. Are we just seeing a guy who's just the age is starting to creep in, or do you just look at this as I don't know, early season struggles? He'll find his rhythm. How do you view Castillo?
Probably a combination of the two, Bob, but I think you said a really important word, which is age. And Ryan, I'm sure, can speak to what every pitcher goes through at a certain point in their careers when they have to adjust, whether it's adjusting their in-between starts routine, adjusting their repertoire, adjusting how they prepare for a season in terms of their off-season work, which obviously it's too late to do that for 2025. But there often is a point for a pitcher, and it sometimes happens right around the age that Luis is right now, where adjustments need to be made. And that's what I see right now. He's not done. He's not finished. There's nothing that I'm seeing that would suggest that. But the command needs to get sharper. I think the pitch execution has to get sharper. There's some things where in terms of the stuff and the action on pitches, it can be really, really hard to improve upon that during the course of the season when you have to answer the bell every fifth day, and that's a difficult thing, and Ryan can speak to that. But the pitch execution and the consistency have to improve, and I think that maybe that means varying certain things as you get to be a pitcher now in his early 30s. He's still, I think, a good major league pitcher. Is he elite right now? He's not elite right now, but there is still a path to getting back. You look at someone like a Seth Lugo, who has been really creative in how he executes pitches. So there's a path, even in today's velocity-obsessed times, Bob and Ryan, there's a way to still be effective, and I just think that Luis is still going through it. Unfortunately, it's happening at the same time where they'd love to have Gilbert, they'd love to have Kirby, and George is, of course, getting closer, and Miller's walking a lot of guys. You can't walk this many guys. That is what has me a little more worried than I was maybe 10 days ago or so for this team. Is just you look at even a team with a decent lineup like Toronto, like a lot of runs scored, and last night, ton of runs scored. So that's the big test right now is this pitching staff going to throw enough strikes to be able to beat good lineups? And right now it's an open question based on what we've seen the last 4 days.
Hey, JP, last year, I think it was May 3rd, Luis Arraez was traded from the Marlins, which was kind of strange to see a big name get traded in May. Do you feel like in 2025 this year that there could be some early trade deadline moves happening in May? And just going back to it, because you mentioned the fact that Mariners could essentially look externally to add an arm and stuff like that. But do you feel like there would be a lot of competition in May? And if so, how would that look for 2025?
Yeah, I do think it's possible that there are certain teams, the Marlins are one of them, that always seem to be open for business. The White Sox could be too, although interestingly, the White Sox rotation has now gotten younger and better to where I'm not really sure that I see a White Sox pitcher that will be available to everybody unless it's a really, really good baseball trade. The Mariners probably would have to give up one of their better young players in the system to get an impact starter at this stage. You look around and the prices tend to drop a little more as you get closer towards the deadline, at least for the pending free agent. A team like Pittsburgh, which has, I think, a solid rotation and may be able to move some of their pitching. Colorado is a fascinating case. Of course, they just fired Bud Black over the weekend. They hired Warren Schaefer, who's a longtime minor league coach and manager. I think he's got a great future, but it's going to be a hard team to manage right now. The Rockies are interesting. And on some level, you would say, well, sure, you should give up Marquez or give up Freeland because you clearly are not going anywhere right now in the National League West. But they're just worried about putting together a competent major league performance and having a major league product on the field to where I think they're going to have to be really cautious about when they pull the plug, so to speak, on actually making moves. So there are teams out there. The Marlins are one of them. The White Sox in the right deal, though I wouldn't look for it right now. The Pirates, I think the Marlins and Pirates are probably the two teams that I would look to that might be of the mind to make a move a little sooner. And then stunningly, how about the Baltimore Orioles? A team that we didn't think at all was going to be a seller. Maybe Tomoyuki Sugano becomes available. He was, of course, signed to a short-term deal with the Orioles, and I think he'd actually pitch really well in Seattle. He'd be a great fit in Seattle. So Sugano, again, the Orioles, because of their success last season, they cannot make a sell decision right now and start moving assets on May 13th. But I think as you get closer to the early days of July, maybe it becomes a bit more practical. And in fairness to the Mariners, Ryan, they probably want to say, listen, let's assess how we look once Gilbert and Kirby come back,
right,
and then we can determine how much of our minor league depth we're willing to move. So I think for now, For the Mariners, I think their focus has to be internal, maybe a waiver claim here or there, but the big-time shopping, I think, has to come later on in the process.
Jon, we always appreciate you, my friend. Thanks so much. Great stuff, and we'll do it again next week.
You got it, guys. Always enjoy it. Have fun tonight. Always exciting when the Yankees are in town, so can't wait to watch the game this evening.
Thanks, Jon.
All the best. Thank you.
There you go. There's Jon Morosi with us each and every week. Always a fun conversation. Now we turn to another guy we love talking to, who made the sacrifice to come up into the booth with us, and he had to sit in an elevator with Mike Lefko, which could not have been fun for him. But Dylan Moore is here with us either way. We appreciate you, man. How are you?
Thanks for having me. It's cool to see this. I haven't seen this before.
You've never been up here before?
Never been up here.
Really? That's so fun. When I was playing, I've never been up here before.
This is where the great Rick Riz sits. This is where Gary.
There's a lot of history in here.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, Dave Neha. This is a lot of history happening here. Dude, we'll get into what's gone on lately, but just your individual season, you're off to a career best. I mean, you hit 10 home runs last year. You've got 7 already. You're hitting 284 right now with a 330 on base. It feels like watching you look very comfortable up there. Did you do anything different in the offseason, approach anything, or is it just, hey, I feel good?
Yeah, I definitely made some mechanical adjustments to my swing. That combined with a little bit of just taking all the experience from the 7 years that I've been here and like putting it into action, emotionally, physically, mentally, all that type of stuff, kind of taking what works and what doesn't work. It takes a while to get used to what works and what doesn't, and it's a game of failure. So putting all those things together, coupled with the fact that just trying to be a little bit more aggressive with what I think is a better swing is made me off to a pretty good start.
Dylan, you're getting a chance to play against lefties and righties. Did you get to a point after last year? Because I'm not going to say last year was like a breakout, but did you come into spring training this year? And I don't know if you were vocal about it or you made it known to them saying, look, I want to get to a place where I can literally play every day, even though I'm moving around the infield or moving in different positions. But was that a priority for you to try and be in the lineup every single day as opposed to saying, you know what, I don't want to have to platoon here and just face lefties if that's kind of the role, and I want to get a chance to play every single day?
Yeah, I mean that's the idea, right? I take a lot of pride in what I do and being able to be versatile and play all over the field. That being said, I'm a competitor and I love baseball and I want to be out there every single day. Every time I'm not out there, it's frustrating to watch I'm cheering on for my teammates and I feel the ups and downs of what they're going through. But to be in there, be a part of it, and help the team win is a better feeling. And I'm cool with either role, and those decisions are above my pay grade, and I'm just doing what I can do, and every day, yeah.
Hey, as far as, and you brought up watching the team and you want to be able to help them, you got hurt early, you had a little hip thing going on. I got to imagine any time you're hurt, it's frustrating because you can't help, as you just talked about. But when you're rolling like the way you are, does that make it worse? Like, man, I was in a groove. I'm seeing the ball. I'm seeing the spin. Everything's working out. And now I got to sit out because I'm on the IL. Is that more frustrating when you're having the kind of start that you had?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was definitely a tough decision whether to kind of play through it and be less than 100%, or to kind of just make sure after that 10 days I'm coming back and I'm good to go for the rest of the season. That seemed like the smartest thing to do, just because it kind of taken out the fact that I was rolling, et cetera, et cetera. Risking a little bit more of an injury and a little bit more time off, while also playing not 100% during that time didn't seem like the smartest move for me, especially with what I do across the board. So I was just making sure I knew after 10 days I would totally be good to go. And that seemed like the smartest thing to do.
By the way, I do have to apologize for my friend here, Bob Stelton, with the sunglasses on. Can you explain?
I had an RLE procedure on my eyes.
What is that?
They take the lenses out of your eyes and put in artificial lenses. So they can be...
Like permanent contacts?
Kind of. Well, you have natural lenses in your eyes, so they take them out and they put in new ones, but they adjust it with UV light. So they'll correct your vision with UV light. So if I'm out here without sunglasses, it'll lock it in how it is now, and they won't be able to adjust it. So until they adjust it with UV light at the facility, I can't be around ultraviolet light. You know,
Oh, okay, so
even
it's two
on
separate processes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
two stages.
And I just
So I'm not
again,
trying to be the cool guy inside wearing.
Right, I didn't
sunglasses.
want Demo to be like, "Why is this dude wearing shades, looking straight at me?"
I appreciate
It's a nice gloomy day out here.
I know. He's looking at me going, "Who's this tool? What's he doing?"
Anyway, I wanted to get that out in the open. Hey, in Boston, I asked you about with your hands, right? I was watching some video of you last year, and you mentioned that your hands throughout the season can kind of drop a little bit. Talk to me about that and tell the listeners about that. So I was watching video last year. Your hands are up high. They're up a little bit higher now. And you said to me, I found it interesting. You said, over time they tend to like sort of dip down here a little bit. And you're making a conscious effort of keeping your hands up to get to that pitch, that good velocity fastball up here. Talk to us about that. Like, how do you... I mean, is that something that last year you just forget about and all of a sudden the hands dip? Or talk to us, or is that something that happens as a swing as you take that stride forward?
Yeah, just trying to be able to, with all of the velocity at the top of the zone, basically my idea is that you can't hit the ball, you can't put the barrel below, I guess, above your hands. Nobody tomahawks anymore where the barrel is above your hands at contact. You're always trying to, move up towards the ball, or at least at an even keel space. So having them up and being able to be short to that top part of the zone and then work my way down is much easier than having them down and try to work up to that high heater. That was basically the premise of it. During the season, with the way my load is and the way I want my hands to work, with my body and like the way that they structure each other is kind of the way that they get a little bit lower, and I just have to be conscious of that, and I can usually tell and just try to keep them up. Yeah.
Did you try one of the torpedo bats?
No, I have not. I've been doing okay without it, so I haven't touched it yet.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is like, were you interested, but you're like, I don't want to mess with what's working, or.
I mean, it's 1 for 26, or I don't know. What do we have? 13 position players. One guy's using it.
Cal's using it left-handed, right?
I think he's got both now.
Oh, is he hitting from the right side?
I think
with
so.
the torpedo?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Those ones didn't come in, but I think he uses 2 different models.
Yeah. See, I haven't kept up. So he's the only one using it.
He's the only one that I know. Yeah. Some other guys tried it, didn't like it. I mean,
did you even just feel it just to see?
It feels odd. I haven't swung it at a ball yet, so.
Yeah, it's amazing how that just took off with the Yankees, coincidentally going nuts in their first series, hitting 12 home runs, and everybody said, "It's the torpedo bat. Everybody's got to have them."
I mean, yeah, I'm of the opinion it's the Indian, not the arrow.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's a tough stretch right now. 4 games, getting swept by the Blue Jays, losing the game last night was a tough one. Coming off a situation where you just won 9 consecutive series, and so everything's rolling, especially offensively. You guys as an offensive unit, you're like, oh man, this is stark difference to last year and everything else in regards to the offense. How do you get through? And you're more of a veteran player now on this team. Walking in that clubhouse, is there anything that this team can do to to put it in the rearview mirror and move on, or even the vibe in the clubhouse right now?
Yeah, I mean, losing sucks. There's no way around it. However, like you said, we've had some pretty recent success, so it's up to the individual and also the leaders on the team to kind of remind everyone what we were able to do. Baseball is such a trendy thing. You're winning the World Series after you just won 9 series in a row, and now we're going to lose all these games because we lost 4 in a row. So it's kind of like it's up to us to stay as even keel as possible, especially with all the stuff going on around us. What I try to do is take care of the little things, the base running, the stuff on. If you're not doing it on offense, try to do it on defense. Sometimes over the course of a season, the hitting's going to carry us, the late hitting's going to carry us, the pitching's going to carry us, the bullpen's going to carry us. So right now, it seems like maybe none of that's working as well as we would like. So something's got to step up. We got Wu out there tonight. I feel super confident in what he can do. He's shown great ability out there. So there's a million different ways to win a baseball game, and we've shown that we can do that in the last 9 series, and we've gotten unlucky that, the past four games run into some hot teams, but we're capable of rattling off 4 as well. And I think it's just the theme would probably just be about to keep it even and remember the success that we had over those 9 series, and bring that back to the front.
Is it hard not to press when you see 2 of your starters are out, obviously, and Logan Gilbert and Kirby, and you got young guys in there, and is there pressure to, hey, we got to come up with some runs to support these guys? They're scuffling, Bryce Miller's scuffling a bit, nobody's got their rhythm really. Do you feel it's an offense? Is it hard not to feel like I got to come up with this hit here? I got a runner on second. I got a runner on third. I got to come through.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to kind of keeping it even keel the whole time. You cannot be worried about, what we need in certain situations. Every single time you're up there with a runner in scoring position, you're trying to get that guy in. Whether you're up by 12, down by 12, you won 100 games, you lost 100 games. So, just keeping it super simple in that regard. And sticking with your approach. You start worrying about that other stuff. That's kind of when you do too much because you're thinking about that stuff. So just trying to keep it super simple, stay with your approach, and maximize your efficiency by being really good at what you do, what your strengths are.
Hey, before we let you go, did you see that goofball throwing out the first pitch last night?
Yeah, I've seen that guy before. That guy threw out a first pitch to me when I was a rookie, and he ran up to me and hugged me like he'd known me for years.
I was standing there watching.
I was freaking out. And then I was like, I never want to do that again with that guy. No, he's great.
He tells that story that you were like, all right, you did it. Let go.
Yeah.
We're talking about Adam Ray, by the way, for those listening that don't know. I was standing there watching, and he said, yeah, I gave him a hug that was a little too long.
Yeah, he's come a long way since then.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Hey, man, it's always fun talking to you. Really appreciate you coming up, and welcome to the booth where all the
this is great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Now you know where all these great calls when Dylan Moore comes up with a huge hit or a big play in the field. It's all taking place right here.
It's a great view.
Yeah, it's nice. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys.
There you go. There's Dylan Moore of your Seattle Mariners spending a few minutes with us. Always awesome to talk with this guy who's off to such a good start this year, along with some other guys in this lineup. We'll talk more about that. Plus, we're starting to see significant progress from one key bat in this Mariners lineup. We're going to get into that next. It's Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile Park with Ryan Roland Smith, and this is Seattle Sports on 710.
After a month as baseball's hottest team, the Mariners have hit a bump in the road.
Julio back. He spins around at the wall, makes a leap. It's gone.
Tough one all around tonight.
I found myself thinking about these two Dan Wilsons.
So I'll just stick with the confidence building, Dan. Wants these guys to be empowered.
Tonight, he's been the Mariners' ace so far this season. Can Brian Wu deliver a sorely needed dub? Mariners, Yankees. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners. Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett, or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or rain session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners looking to snap a 4-game losing streak, first 4-game losing streak of the season. They send Bryan Woo to the hill to get things corrected in Game 2 of their 3-game series against the Yankees. Yankees counter with Max Fried. It's going to be a great pitching matchup in this one. You're going to catch all of the action of it right here, starting at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch. Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, tough luck for the Celtics. They announced today that superstar forward Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a ruptured right Achilles tendon this afternoon after suffering that injury late in the fourth quarter of their Game 4 loss to the New York Knicks. The team said the surgery was a success and that no timetable was available for his return.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We are live at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith in for Dave Wyman, the younger, better-looking version of Dave Wyman.
That's right.
He loves when I say that.
Wait, me or Dave?
Dave, because he heard it the very first time I said it, and he came in the next day and said, what was that you said about he's younger and better looking? And I said, well, I think both are probably true.
But hey, by the way, Mike Lefko mentioned the fact he'd be very upset that Dylan Moore was here because that's his favorite player.
Wyman's second distraught now. Cal's his favorite.
I feel bad.
It's 1 and 1A. It's Cal and Demo.
I was stoked to have Demo. I mean, he came up here. You know, it was awesome.
He seemed genuinely intrigued by wow, I've never been up here in the broadcast.
You do forget when I was playing, I'd never stepped foot up here ever.
Did you ever come up to like the offices where Jerry or whoever was in charge at the time?
I don't think I ever did.
Huh?
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah. That's it. It's a new adventure for him. All this time he spends in the park, he's never been up here. But if you guys just tuned in, we had a great conversation with Dylan Moore. You'll be able to find that on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, I think if you look out to the bullpen, you see Logan Gilbert out there throwing a bullpen.
Yeah.
How about that?
Slowly but surely.
That's a good sign, right?
I think he threw like 12 pitches off the mound. It's probably similar today. Well, I'm watching him right now, and taking it slow. It's not. This is the hard part too. Watching him and George Kirby, you don't want this inkling where it's like, all right, need these guys back, and then they've just got to be full steam ahead the minute they get back. It's going to take a little bit of time. So there's still a couple of weeks before. JP Morosi talked about when we had him on this rotation. Once those two guys get back, how this team, it's the foundation of this team and everything else. You just can't expect the minute they hit the field that boom, all right, everything is. It's fixed. So it's going to take a little bit of time for Logan Gilbert, especially watching him throw right now. Nice and easy.
Do you think it's an easier road for him to get back to where he was, considering he went through all spring, he started the season, he got ramped up. Obviously, he's still going to have to work his way back up, but it's that he'll get there quicker than Kirby, who had an abbreviated spring, obviously hasn't pitched since.
Yeah, and the other part of this, too, is just the type of injury. And I'm not saying that elbows, like it's, obviously there's some gray area there, but in regards to coming back from an elbow compared to a shoulder and the time off that George Kirby had, he'll be quicker to get back to full steam.
Yeah, sure. One more on that. We hear about Logan. He's in the bullpen now. He's throwing from the mound. But we had heard prior to that, he's playing catch. He's throwing 120 feet. He's doing that. What's the big difference between the two, throwing from a flat surface and then being up on the mound? I mean, I don't think he's out there throwing 98-mile-an-hour fastballs right now.
A couple things. Number one, your intensity naturally goes up because you're on a mound and you got the catcher down. So, intuitively you want to get that extra release and extra stress strain on the arm. The other part is too, remember, you're going down a slope. So on flat ground, there's 4 times when you're talking about ground force production, there's 6 times on a mound. Not to get too crazy here with all that. When you go down the slope, there's just way more of your body weight into that foot plant and more stress, on the other end, which is your arm. So when you get on the mound, you just got to be conscious of that too, because you do have way more ground force that you're generating going up through the chain.
Yeah. By the way, Lefko and I were down there when Adam Ray was getting ready to throw out his first pitch last night. We're in that tunnel where they have a permanent rubber and a permanent home plate for everybody who throws the first pitch, and they sit in that tunnel and they warm up. And Mike McDonald, for those that didn't see it, Mike McDonald, the Seahawks head coach, threw out the first pitch last night with Adam Ray, but they were warming up, and you realize how far that is.
I know. It looks further too in the tunnel, because every time I go to the media dining.
Yeah, we saw you ran right through the video.
I know. I ruined his video, but I had to go, man. I didn't have any time. I don't want to ruin this video, but I was sprinting through.
Congrats! You made Seahawks social media.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On their social media account.
How about
sprinted
that?
right through.
Yeah. I need to.
And then Adam gave you a shout out for your podcast.
He did. No, thanks.
But it looked like
I know.
Standing on the rubber, looking at the home plate, going, that looks like it's 120 feet.
Remember a couple of years ago, we were playing catch out here, you and me. I was throwing knuckleball. But you get on the field, you're like, okay, it's not too far, 60 feet.
Yeah,
it's not too bad. But down there, man, I'm telling you, I had to throw out the first pitch back in the day. Like, this is ages ago when I threw out the first pitch here, ceremonial first pitch. I'm happy I didn't see that. Because someone had mentioned, hey, there's actually, if you want to warm up, I'm like, no, I'm all good, because I was all nervous.
Yeah.
If I'd seen that, I'd have been like freaking out. It looks so far down in that tunnle.
I know. I'm thinking I'd have to lollipop this thing and just lob it. Yeah. Man, it looked far. But anyway, we're getting off the topic. One of the guys that is starting to come to life, I think we're starting to see, and it actually has been quietly happening for a while, is Julio Rodriguez in this lineup. And we saw how things got kicked off early with that home run to lead things off last night.
Here's the next offer on the way. Swinging a fly ball deep into the gap. In left center field. Going and goodbye baseball into the pen. Julio Rodriguez with home run number 7. Getting the crowd in the game right away here in the bottom of the first. And just like that, the Mariners have a 1-0 lead over the Yankees.
Yeah, so seeing that, I think, and then you go back and you look at his game log. I mean, he had 7 games in a row where he didn't record a single strikeout, which for him is huge. Mm-hmm. He had, leading into the Blue Jays series, he'd had at least 1 hit in 14 of 18 previous games.
Yeah.
And he'd been coming off of back-to-back games with multiple hits. So, Yeah, they're not all home runs. They're not all doubles and triples, but he's getting on base. He's not striking out. He's kind of quietly doing it when the rest of the offense is going with guys like Dylan Moore and guys like this guy right here, Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, it's something that we said this multiple times last year, and I even said in spring training that this offense depends on what he does, and it hasn't been the case. The first month you're like, okay, Julio's not quite there, but you can kind of turn a blind eye to that because the offense is doing big things.
Right.
It's kind of the same. It's the same idea as you're winning these games with offense. So you sort of like you don't even pay attention to the starting pitch, and now all of a sudden they lose a little bit, or they're not having the same offense, and then you start glaring. They see the glaring issue. I think with Julio, I still say that this offense, it still depends on him when it's all said and done. We're talking over the long term. But, man, in the last 10 games, the difference with him, when you're talking the strikeout rate went from, I'm talking from the beginning of this season now,
right.
Went from, 12, 13, 14%. Now it's down, the last 10 games, 6.8% the strikeout rate, which is insane. It's great. The chase rate has been cut in half. It was 48. Last year's 48% chase. That's all year long. Even the nice little ending he had. It's down to 27.8. He's had at-bats where, even last night, 2 strikes, whack. We saw that in the Blue Jays series too. He's having at-bats where there's these really close pitches that I'm like, oh, man, that's Chase City for Julio.
Yeah.
And that's
off-speed low and away.
Yep, off-speed low and away. And he's just he's just recognizing those pitches so much better. And I say this all the time. He's done that without changing his approach. In other words, it's not like they're saying, hey, he's swinging at the first pitch is through the roof. He's like I want to say top 5 players.
Yeah. Do you like that, or would you rather see him?
Hey, look, he hasn't changed that. That hasn't changed. It's still the same rate swinging at first pitches. I'm good with that. So it's not something where it's like, hey, look, man, you have to completely overhaul your approach, because then you start second guessing and you start trying to do something different. Go be an athlete. If he can go be an athlete the same as what he was at the beginning of the season, and you're starting to see some of these numbers where there's that pitch recognition from Julio Rodriguez, man, he is going to go on an absolute tear.
Yeah, and it's great to see. Obviously, he's your star. He's the guy you market as the star. But you're starting to see, Polanco, you can't expect him to hit 360 all year. He's going to come back.
Yeah.
He's going to, Cal Raleigh's not going to hit 12 home runs a month. Mm-hmm. He's going to come back a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just not a knock on anybody. It's about being realistic. I mean, they're off to just this fiery start. Yeah. So you expect, things are going to even out a bit, much like we expect the pitching to step forward, right? So in seeing some of these guys back to the pack, it's going to be huge for Julio to get to where he's going, and it just feels like he's kind of quietly doing it. We're kind of taking our eye off him because of all the other shiny things that are going on with
that's what I'm saying.
Cal and everything, and he's kind of, and maybe that's helping him. Maybe the fact that the offense is producing, take out the Blue Jays series, the offense is producing, other guys are stepping up, they're getting that shine, and he can kind of just work his way through whatever without sort of the spotlight being as bright as it normally is.
Yeah, well, first of all, Cal, you mentioned, Polanco's cooling off a little bit. But not like he's just all of a sudden going 0 for 50.
Yeah.
But he's cooling off, which is normal, right? But he's still getting that same result. The home run he hit to right field, you're still seeing that good exit velo and all that, the athleticism. Cal, I think Cal's getting better even in these last, 5 to 8 games. When I'm talking about with 2 strikes, breaking ball down, when he's hitting from the left side, breaking balls down and in, man, just kryptonite. Like, if you're landing a pitch, doesn't have to be great, man, he's missing it. All of a sudden, again, recognizing that pitch a little bit more. Hitting from the right side, hit the home run last night. Way more consistent from the right side facing lefties.
Torpedo bat.
That's right. Yeah, he's got the torpedo back from the right side. Let's make that go viral. But hey, look, our friend Luke Arkins posted something. I retweeted it on Twitter. But just back to Julio, the first 37. I know we're game 39 tonight, whatever. But the walk rate has doubled for him. Great. Strikeout rate was 28%. Now it's 19% for Julio.
Mm-hmm.
Batting average, and he's talking about the first 37,
right?
Because he's always gotten off to a slow start. He batting average has dipped a little bit, but hey, you know what? On base is up a little bit. And the biggest thing I think from, again, 6 home runs compared to 1 last year. Remember he had that drought?
He's got 7 right now.
Right. Well, sorry, 7. Yeah. But this is the first 37. I'm giving a shout out to Luke. I'm glad he pulled this up. But the just the recognition with 2 strikes, the chase to me, you eliminate that chasing the slider, you're going to get a pitch in the middle of the plate. 50% of the time, the very next pitch. And he will do damage because he's just so athletic. It's not something where he's going to get overwhelmed by pitches in the strike zone.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been huge for him. You see that chase rates plummet like the way it has, he's in good shape.
Is there anybody offensively you're watching that you go, I'm not seeing it there? I mean, that's in there on a regular basis. I've said that about Solano. I don't really understand what it is he brings to the table. You probably need him just because of the injuries and everything that's gone on. But outside of him, is there anybody you're looking? Because it feels like everybody, for the most part, it's not that everybody's hitting 300, but they've all sort of just kicked in and at the right moments. Whether we're talking about Miles Mastroboni or we're talking about Dylan Moore,
Miles has been great, man.
Yeah, you talk about Leo Rivas. Everybody has kind of come through in these big moments. Is there anybody standing out where you're going, I really need to see this guy take a step forward?
Yeah, you know what? And he's come up big in some big moments, and I wasn't anticipating him to have this much playing time, and because Luke Raley's injured as well. But Rowdy Tellez, there's a couple things on him. Now, look, he looks way more comfortable than what he did watching him from afar, and he's getting plenty of playing time. I just want to see a little bit better plate discipline, a little bit higher walk rate. If you're going to be that thumper or that guy who's going to, be a tough at bat, you got to walk a little bit more. Now, Justin Hollander was in here talking about Rowdy just the other day. Said, "Hey, like last couple of years, they've wanted him to be more patient, and he's just he's gone, to a place where very passive." Offensively. And so he wasn't comfortable. Hey, go be aggressive, go be you. But just a little bit of that. Hey, look, let's not chase this pitch here because you're not handling that pitch in the top of the strike zone, for example. I'm just using any example. And then next thing you know, you get overwhelmed pop-up or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Man, if we can just have just a little bit more plate discipline from him, I think he could be a huge, huge threat to this lineup.
Yeah. We'll see what goes on in the game. I'm excited for this game. This is a great pitching matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Wu versus Free. This is
big time.
This is going to be very interesting to watch. Meanwhile, we touched on this a bit with Morosi, and that's the ruling today. Rob Manfred removed Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson and other deceased players from Major League Baseball permanently ineligible list. So, in talking about that now, what Morosi clarified is that doesn't mean they're automatically on the ballot. We'll see if they go on the, what do you call it, the Eras Committee. It used to be the Veterans Committee. Now it's the Eras Committee, and it's 16 people. Manfred said, obviously a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game. He said, moreover, it's hard to conceive of a penalty that has more deterrent effect than the one that lasts a lifetime with no reprieve. Therefore, I've concluded the permanent ineligibility ends upon the passing of the disciplined individual, and Mr. Rose will be removed from the permanently ineligible list. So the decision ends the ban that Rose accepted from Bart Giamatti back in '89. Jackson, he was part of the Black Sox scandal in 1919. That's a little fuzzy one if you know the baseball history, because he's a guy that they talked about. His numbers in that series were off the charts, and that he was illiterate and didn't know what he was signing. They gave him this thing saying, "Hey, we're going to rig these games. And he put it out, whatever."
Yeah.
So who knows what really went on there? But the ruling removes a total of 16 deceased players and one deceased owner from MLB's ban list, and that includes some of Jackson's teammates: Eddie Seacott, Buck Weaver, who was played by John Cusack in 8 Men Out. Did you ever see that movie?
I still haven't seen that.
Oh,
I still haven't seen that movie.
That's a good movie. Yeah, that's a good one. So we'll see what it ultimately means. But do you like that they did this? Do you like that at least it opens up an avenue for these guys to potentially get in there?
It definitely opens up the discussion again. I feel like Pete Rose in the last, his name continues to pop up. I feel like it's every 6 months somehow, when he comes out with a book or some of the comments he makes and everything else. I think, J.P. Morosi was pretty stern on the fact that he wouldn't vote for him in the Hall of Fame. And just to echo what J.P. Morosi said too, look, Major League Baseball is not the same as the Hall of Fame. Like, they're completely separate. But at the same time, it does open that avenue for him in regards to the Hall of Fame ballot. The other thing I think about with this now, he passed away, last September it was. So he's passed away, and Manfred said, well, he's no threat to the game now that he's deceased. So you think of this and go, well, okay, what is the point of this now? If it's something in the sense where, Now you give him the chance to be in the Hall of Fame, because that's the big thing. Pete Rose, Hall of Fame, yes or no? It's not can he go coach or can he eat a hot dog at a game because he's banned. It's not that. It's Pete Rose, Hall of Fame.
Right.
So all of a sudden now it's a situation where, all right, Major League Baseball's willingly saying, all right, we're taking him off the ban list because he's no threat to the game. But all that does now is just create this conversation. And it's so split down the middle, I feel like, 50-50, how people feel about him entering the Hall of Fame. But again, for me, we talked about this earlier, Pete Rose as beyond it was alleged that he gambled, and he did 1984 to 1989 as a manager. Is when he bet on those games.
Oh, he admitted that he did.
He admitted. No,
in
I know.
his book.
Right, in his book. And said that he only bet for them to win.
Right.
Right? Who knows? Who knows? Again, there's no proof saying otherwise to that. But as a player, he's one of the best ever. He is.
Yeah,
and
he's the hit king.
there was this identity to baseball being hard-nosed because of Pete Rose back in the day. And I'll be honest, it's lost a little bit of that. It really has. The toughness to it. And like I told you earlier, I knew who Pete Rose was growing up in a country that no one knows who baseball players are, unless they're dating a celebrity. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Like people knew who A-Rod was because there was a steroid scandal and he was dating Madonna or whatever it was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's how big of a deal Pete Rose was internationally, and coming from my background. And I just think from a, the example on the field of being hard-nosed and everything he did, and some of the numbers too, insane, like some of the league leading with what he's done, games played, hits, at-bats, plate appearances, singles, times on bat, all those things are all MLB records that probably will never, ever get touched ever again.
So Ryan Roland Smith is a Hall of Fame voter, or you're an ERAS voter. You're one of the 16 for that, because I guess he wouldn't be on the traditional ballot. He'd be part of the ERAS committee, as John clarified, 16 voters. You're one of those guys? Do you vote for him? Do you vote for Shoeless Joe Jackson? Do you Eddie Seacott, those guys?
I've been to the whole, I'm not skimming around the question here. I've been to Cooperstown a few times. I've met, the way they run. I've met them. I know how they run things there.
Yeah.
And there is an integrity piece that goes into it. So again, like JP said, love Pete Rose and Hall of Fame. He is famous. He is part of baseball history. Like, he is ingrained in baseball history. So I have to say no. However, it is tough to walk through that museum and not see anything about Barry Bonds, not see anything about Pete Rose, because you're just looking at the entire history of baseball. Like, it's really missing something.
Yeah.
With a couple of those names.
See, I would vote.
But as far as a plaque up on the wall in those hallways,
yeah.
I have to say no. Still,
Well,
Yeah,
I see. I think I'd vote for them to be in, but I would vote for some acknowledgement. And I haven't been in there, so I don't know how they give you a little paragraph on each player, or there's a little mini bio, like, here's Babe Ruth, and he did this, that, and the other. I haven't seen that, but I would want something for Pete, something for Barry, something for A-Rod, something for Roger Clemens that says
they did have a section.
What
by the
happened.
way, if you ever go there, the museum it's kind of interchangeable. Like, they can move some pieces around there, and there was like a little section there about the steroid era.
Yeah,
like, I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'll be honest with you, it's like negative press. Like, it's kind of more catchy. I'm sitting, oh man, I kind of want to see this, because I grew up watching, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa.
It's part of baseball's history.
Of baseball's history. So in the museum of things, and if you're fascinated by baseball and the history, man, at least something there, the acknowledgement for sure. Yeah, I'm with
so
you.
I would be for voting these guys in, because statistically they've earned it, and as we've seen throughout the history of steroids, it's not like you take some ham and egg or some guy who's barely hanging on to a roster spot, you give him steroids and he turns into Barry Bonds.
Yeah, right.
These are wildly talented guys that created more bat speed, more power, what have you. But these are great players. Look, Jeremy Giambi took it. Ozzie Canseco took steroids. What do they do? Nothing. So it doesn't turn a C-level player into an A-plus superstar. That's not how it works. So
Jose Canseco, just to correct you.
Well, no, his brother. Ozzie. He's got a twin brother.
Oh, you're
Ozzie.
saying,
he took it. He didn't do anything.
Gotcha.
So the point being, just because you took steroids,
I see what you're saying.
became a superstar. So my point is, I would vote him in, and I would have an acknowledgement next to their plaque or on the plaque that said, here's Alex Rodriguez. Here's career numbers. Here's where he ranks. He was also a guy who was caught up in the steroid scandal, some way acknowledging, hey, he was caught up, he admitted, blah, 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 that should be part of his story. And same is true for all the other guys.
So, agree with that. Acknowledgement, part of baseball history in the museum, some sort of, not recognition, but hey, this is part of baseball history. Here it is. I'm fine with that. But the rule in baseball, you hit the ball, you're under first base. The rule is you don't take anything that's on a banned list. And if you did that, well, then guess what? You broke the rule. Therefore, you played while breaking the rule. Therefore, you're out. You know, I mean, that's not cool. So, man, it's a tough one. And again, like I said, Pete Rose, fascinated by the guy. Fascinated, man. I love watching him. I can watch Barry Bonds clips all night. Like, Amanda's like, you watching this show? And I'm sitting over there on YouTube watching Barry Bonds because like him versus Eric Gagne. Man, I love it. I can watch that. Best hero of all time. But I just, like with JP's point of view here, I just, when it comes to, okay, you know, inducting him to the Hall of Fame to get that plaque, nope. I just think,
But, and I know we're up against the clock. Which to you is the worst crime? The steroids or the gambling?
Oh, man, they're both brutal.
I think the gambling's worse because, just as you said, we don't know if he bet against the Reds. He's got a starter going with he's got kind of a soggy arm. He's like, all right, I'm going to put down 10 grand that we're going to lose tonight. I mean, come on, man.
If you for personal gain have a situation where I am going to affect everyone, all these other people around me for that point from that. Oh, that is brutal. However, I've pitched against guys who are taking steroids. And I'm out there doing my best.
Yeah.
And you're here just hitting balls another 40, 50 feet. You know, I'm like, so it's a tough one.
Yeah,
I can't answer that question. They're both brutal.
Interesting debate. All right, coming up, one fact that has been made clear about the Mariners during this losing streak. We're going to tell you what that is coming up next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Rowland-Smith in. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
A quick question / maybe unpopular take. I guess. I totally understand graduation gifts in high school.
Okay.
Here's $100. Here's this. Here's that. Like graduation gifts in college.
Why not? Almost more so. I think that would make sense.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you talked about setting someone up for the rest of their life. For the most part, you're going off for high school.
I mean, they've done that with their degree. Like, God bless them. You think it's appropriate, like, collegiate graduation gift?
Because then you're actually, like, going out to start a real life.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL Line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Jill Schlesinger. May is Military Appreciation Month, and I know how much I appreciate the military. I married into a military family. I hear from so many members of the military, and Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. If you're active duty, a veteran, or part of a military family, you're eligible to join. At Navy Federal Credit Union, the members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple of years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are live at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith in on a overcast day. Got the Mariners all out there taking batting practice, working on the fielding. They're looking ready for a win tonight.
Yes.
Looking ready for a big win when they send Brian Wu to the hill against Max Fried. Great pitching matchup. But we're watching this team in the midst of a 4-game losing streak, first 4-game losing streak of the season. Jeff Passan, who was on with Brock and Salk, talking about this team, said the Mariners are a very capable team, but they're not a great team.
Sure. It would be nice if this team not just had won those 4 games instead of lost them, but was playing the kind of baseball that we sort of got used to for a couple weeks. And, you know, when they're playing the kind of baseball that they were playing, you want that to never go away. But it's just not possible to maintain that over 162 games unless you're a great team. And this isn't a great team. I still think this is just a quite good team and quite good guys in the American League West could be quite enough.
What do you think? Do you agree with that? That they're not great. They're quite good, as he puts it. And is that enough? Is that going to be enough to win this division?
There's still a lot of question marks with this team, and I'm pointing at the rotation with Luis Castillo.
So weird that we're saying that.
I know. And Bryce Miller.
So weird that we're talking
Hey,
about.
listen, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. But
Well,
look.
it's a fair.
No, I don't want to be that guy. But I did say this pre-spring training. When I filled in, hung out with you for 4 hours in the dead of winter. No.
Freezing.
Long before anyone ever took a field. No, I did say, you know what? The Mariners should probably look at just bringing in a guy, another arm to compete, to push around this rotation a little bit.
Yeah.
And someone who would be essentially willing to go to spring training, maybe go to AAA, get in the bullpen, just like the Dodgers bring in 8 guys.
Yeah.
Like guys, not just some, because it's very hard to replicate 2024. Now, look, you got Logan, George Kirby coming back. I get it. But, man, the question mark is 2/5 of this rotation in regards to Bryce Miller. Where's he going? What's 2025 look like for him and Luis Castillo? There's just too many question marks. In regards to the offense, hey, look, they can cool off a little bit. They don't have to be as good as they were in those 9 straight. They don't have to. They have to rely on that as we speak right now.
Right.
But I still think the pitching, in order for them to get that AL West, I know everyone talks about how easy the AL West is. The Rangers are going to, I'm telling you, they'll pick it up a little bit. And so will the Houston Astros, who said every single year that this pitching has to be above average in the rotation. It is not above average right now.
Right. Now, what would you do with Bryce Miller? You're in charge. You're Jerry DiPoto. You're meeting with Dan Wilson, Justin Hollander, and we're looking at Bryce Miller going, keeps talking about, I'm making the wild assumption that they've addressed every physical ailment, that he says, I just haven't felt good. I haven't felt good. All right, what's the problem? It's my back, it's my elbow, it's whatever it is. I'm guessing whatever he's pointed out, they've tested, that they've done. So because I just don't believe they'd run him out there.
Yeah.
If something was wrong. So I'm looking at a guy who I feel like is more mentally broken than physically. So what would you do with him?
Do
you keep running him out?
Okay.
Because we're in a tough spot without Kirby and Logan. You don't really have the luxury of, we'll just plug this guy in or just plug this guy in.
The with Bryce Miller, the priority is getting him right as opposed to who you got. Oh, we don't have anyone. Let's keep rolling him out. I still feel like whether it be at a minimum skip a start or at a more drastic move, maybe option him down. Maybe give him a couple more starts. And if we're seeing this pattern, you're going to and assess, and you say, you know what, we have to draw this up where we option him down. The reason I say that is this. 2010, I'm coming off a good year in 2009. Coming to 2010, the expectations in my head, whether they're real or not, and they were different. I had to be a 200-inning guy. I had to be a good middle of the rotation. I had to get deep into games because I did that in 2009. I came out of the gates, and to my own, it's my fault. I'm not making any excuses. I got way too comfortable. I thought I had it all figured out. And I'm telling you, April punched me in the mouth. It certainly did. And the Mariners just kept rolling me out there. I was a shell of myself, and I got the baseball reference page to prove it. Derailed my career. And I'm not saying Bryce Miller is wildly more talented than I am, physically everything. However, I was good, man. 2009 and 2008, I was coming off some good years. I was pitching deep into games and yada yada. Coming to 2010, I'm a shell of myself mentally. Everyone's like, oh, physically is and I just kept pushing aside. I was a shell. Dude, anything inside the strike zone was just getting hammered, like we saw last night in that 15. That's how it felt. Anyway,
but just to relate to he's coming off a sub-3 ERA season, 31 starts.
I had like a 3.4 ERA.
Right. So I'm saying, was it you pushing yourself to say, I got to match that and do better?
Do better.
Or was it, I got this figured out. I don't need to work the way I did in previous seasons.
I met my wife. I had a pretty chilled off season. I thought I was big time.
So you didn't work as hard?
It up. Yeah, I took my foot off the gas because I was always a guy that had to prove everyone wrong and get hungry and you know what I'm saying? That
you were driven.
I went in 2010. They're doing these commercials, and I thought I was one of the dudes.
Yeah.
Oh man. What? And again, I regret it to this day. It's one of the I think about it all the time. Now, when I'm watching with Bryce, if the Mariners, I'm not saying they should have done this, but they should have either put me on the Phantom, DFA'd me, or something. Send my butt out of there, because I was not equipped to pitch, regardless of what I did a year ago. Now, I'm not saying that with Bryce. However, Bryce has options. Maybe send him down for a couple starts.
Yeah.
Right? And again, he doesn't want to hear that. The team doesn't want to hear that either. But you want this guy for the long-term future is going to be an absolute stud, and he's going to be a big part of this organization. He is so talented to be a number one in a rotation. Right now, he's dealing with something that's out of your control. And so I think that with him, they have to make a pretty stern decision, I think, coming up here with Bryce Miller. I really do. Because, man, they kept rolling me out in 2010. And I was
How
just,
long did they
worse.
keep doing it?
Ugh.
Did you get sent down? Or
No, they put me in the bullpen for a bit, then I made another start. I was a sacrificial lamb.
so they were just jerking you back and forth.
Man, there was a outing I had in Chicago, which I hit rock bottom. I was like, hey, pitching coach said to me before the game, hey, man, you need to get deep in this one because we got nothing in the bullpen. I'm like, oh, man, dude, I didn't even know where the ball's going. Yeah. I gave it up. It was terrible. Like, the fireworks are still ringing in my head from pitching Chicago. All the home runs.
Pinwheels going on.
It was just complete sacrificial lamb. And so, look, again, I'm not comparing my career or anything like that, but I just know this, that Bryce Miller is super important. He should be a priority here. They've got to figure out how to get him right.
All right. During the break, I'm going to go look up your baseball reference
Please
page.
don't.
Meanwhile, he's got a unique perspective on this event, so we'll get Ryan's thoughts on a big day for USA Baseball. That is coming your way next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park with Wyman and Bob and Ryan Roland Smith. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
After a month as baseball's hottest team, the Mariners have hit a bump in the road.
Julio back. He spins around at the wall, makes a leap. It's gone.
Tough one all around tonight.
I found myself thinking about these two Dan Wilsons.
So I'll just stick with the confidence building, Dan. Wants these guys to be empowered.
Tonight, he's been the Mariners' ace so far this season. Can Brian Wu deliver a sorely needed dub? Mariners, Yankees. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners. Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new replacement right now. That's huge. $1,000 off. Quite the incentive for homeowners to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and it really is a great time to do it. These days are getting long, right? Sunsets after 8 o'clock. Crews can get your roof done quick. So take advantage now before demand spikes this summer, making those repairs costly and time-consuming as well. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from the website, riversideroofingllc.com. And then you'll meet with Brandon, that's Don's son. Just tell him you heard the message here on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket, and yes, a brand new roof over your head. And while you're there, ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the nation, and of course the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. Remember, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust.
Something amazing is happening in business. More companies are turning to Mac. From finance to fulfillment, CDW will seamlessly support Mac integration into your organization. With the power of Apple Silicon, best-in-class security, and compatibility across your favorite apps, your team will have the performance they need and the tools they love. Make amazing happen. Mac and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/Apple.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in your game days now.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really 3 keys to a great game plan with us. Number 1 is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number 1. Do you have the right coverage? Number 2, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be, once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back?
Those are the 3 keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade plus of being a First Mark Challenge victory. You can too. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
You have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Ryan Roland Smith in the Yankees-Mariners Game 2 coming your way tonight. You're going to catch it all right here beginning at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch. Brian Wu, Max Fried, your pitching matchup. Great pitching matchup. So excited to see this one get underway. But, Ryan, some interesting news. Paul Skenes, who's one of the bright young stars as far as pitchers go in Major League Baseball, has committed to pitch for Team USA in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. And we've seen, what stands out, I think, for most people is Shohei going up against Mike Trout.
100%.
And that was riveting. I remember we were down to spring training watching that. We were at a restaurant. It was on a big screen, and we're all just riveted watching these two go against each other. It was such a cool thing. But you got teams that want to protect their players. They don't, fans certainly don't want this guy going out there and, risking an elbow, shoulder injury to pitch, for somebody other than their favorite team, in this case, the Pirates. Where do you fall on that? Because you've been a broadcaster, you've been a participant.
Yep.
Where are you at?
I'm a huge advocate for the World Baseball Classic. Obviously, being an international player, I think it's super important for the international game. You talk about these NFL teams playing over in Europe. I think it's really, really important for baseball to spread. Now, the other part I love about it too is it's just baseball in its most purest form, where you're not playing for any money. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sorry, there is a revenue share. But these guys, look, they're making a ton of cash.
It's not the money they're playing for in Major League Baseball.
Exactly, but the World Baseball Classics had quite this evolution. When it started out, it was hard to get. You got Team USA, but you got Derek Jeter and 2 or 3 other superstars, and then the rest it just kind of peels off because people just didn't want to leave spring training to go play. Fast forward to the last one, you had the Adam Jones catch, which was in 2017, which was iconic, and that really sort of pushed it to another level. And then you had that at bat, Ohtani and Trout.
Yeah.
And the participation now, everyone wants to be a part of it, which is massive. And that's kind of how they planned it out. By the way, MLB couldn't have drawn it up any better for their own,
promotional purposes.
Yeah, Trout, Ohtani, you kidding me? Especially in Japan. It's their crown jewel now. So the only thing missing, because of the time of the year, you're not going to get the best pitchers. That's kind of how it was. It's like, all these superstar position plays, you're not going to get the best pitchers. Teams are going to be, now all of a sudden you got Paul Skenes signing up. Boom. I'm telling you right now, it'll be a domino effect. This is massive. I still think the time of year when they can play this, I think they could adjust the time of year. There's some things they could.
Because it happens in
spring training.
During spring training.
Yeah, so you're going to have limitations, right?
Yeah.
But what other time of year do you have? You can't have it after the season because players like, I'm cooked, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm playing in the playoffs, whatever. I still feel like, hockey just did this little international thing that they had just recently. I still feel like there's a place mid-season. Get rid of the All-Star game, and you have a thing mid-season. I would love to see that.
Do you see baseball fans embracing the absence of the All-Star game, and in place they get this?
Still have an All-Star game. You do both, man.
You do both? Because you might have some of the players that are All-Stars that are...
I'm just throwing this out there that... Look, again, no one wants to hear this, but the World Cup of soccer is huge.
Yeah.
Right? Baseball is competing against some big-time competitors, man, when you're talking, obviously, the NFL and obviously some from a world stage. Everyone wants to capture the world. Well, at some point, you're going to – this is the event once all of a sudden you have Aaron Judge in tears when he loses the game to Korea or whatever, right? And he's on the field on his knees. When you have that kind of emotion where it's just very close to, which is pretty much what it was when the USA lost to Japan.
Yeah.
2 powerhouses. When you have that and it captivates the entire world and it captivates the United States, you have to win over the United States. And I feel like if you did it mid-season, again, we're talking, not next year. I'm saying as it progresses now, Paul Skenes is pitching, you get the pitchers on board. But I just think that you talk about a mid-season and people are so much more open-minded about the way they do things in baseball now. You do something mid-season, I'm telling you, that's how you captivate. Because it is a world game, man. The NFL is not a world game. I'm sorry. But they're trying to promote it in Europe. No, I'm sorry. But the NFL is a big deal in Australia, but no one's playing.
Right.
Baseball is a world game. It's big in Europe. I went to Germany and did the qualifiers.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's got a huge, and I did the London series. It's massive. And then obviously in Asia, it's #1 sport.
Well, I love the idea of it until somebody on my favorite team gets hurt. That's where it all changes, right? That's Logan Gilbert goes to pitch for Team USA.
Let me ask you this, all right? If you're an English Premier League fan, and you're I'm not saying let's say you're American. You're not a big soccer fan, I take it.
No.
Okay. No. All right. So,
are you?
No. No. I love the World Cup.
Can we come up with a different example then?
Well, okay. You go to the World Cup. They play in the World Cup.
Okay.
And let's say you're English, and they're playing, for England.
Right.
They sprain their ankle playing for England, but you're a Liverpool fan, right? I'm telling you. The Liverpool fans in England, they're like, you know what? Hey, he's playing for his country. So, in other words, if you've got, Mike...
So they don't care. They're like, well, it was worth it.
Yeah. But, dude, have you seen when England got beat? Have you seen that David Beckham... Again, I'm not a soccer fan. That David Beckham documentary? When he screwed up, he had to go in hiding. That's the level I'm talking about.
Oh, I know they're maniacs.
They're maniacs.
I understand the fandom is on a different level.
So basically, you're not saying you're not that big of a fan then.
Well, no, I'm not enough to, threaten a player and send them into hiding. But I wouldn't want to see, Logan. Again, I'll just use him as the example. Say, I'm going to pitch for Team USA. There's part of me that take pride in that. Hey, a Seattle Mariner representing Team USA. I love that. But then he goes out there and
But what if
he comes out with a bad elbow, a bad shoulder after 3 innings, and all of a sudden he's not available. He's going to have Tommy John. Now, it could have happened in a Mariner uniform, but I think I'm more accepting of an injury like that happening when he's pitching for the team I root for day in, day out versus this outlier.
I get that. My point is this, though. If the World Baseball Classic got to the level of the World Cup of soccer, I guarantee if you see Logan Gilbert out there with the Stars and Stripes Team USA.
There'd be pride, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, man. I'm just saying, yes, it would suck him coming back to the Seattle Mariners and being injured. However, I'm just saying if it was at that level, which is kind of what they're shooting for, things are different. I'm just telling you.
All right.
You just don't understand sports. What it takes.
Tell me about sports. I don't get it. I don't get what it means.
You don't understand passion, Bob. That's
no, I do. I've got a passion for the Mariners.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a different passion. My passion is very focused.
By the way, non-soccer fans are pulling their hair out. I guarantee you, texting in. I'm sure. Yeah.
I haven't even looked at the text. They're probably going.
Oh, here we go. Someone's backing me up. Liverpool fans would forgive someone getting hurt playing for England. There we go. I'm not sure how they feel about someone getting hurt. That was from 360 playing for Argentina. No, that's a good point too. Like, in other words, an English fan of Liverpool, if it's an English player as opposed to, someone playing for the Dominican Republic,
right,
a little bit different. Yeah,
if Rosarena goes and plays for his country and Julio plays for his country, so they're not playing for Team USA, then we're going to view that injury differently.
Yeah, exactly. So that's Yeah,
that's a fair point. All right. So you're out of here. You're rolling out? You're taking off? Or do you want to?
I'm being replaced. Thanks a lot.
No, there's room.
Now, you're kicking me out after that conversation.
No, not at all. I'd love to have you stay as long as you want to stay. We got Charlie Furbush coming up. You guys are 2 pitchers. You guys have some insight that people love. So your call. We'll see if you're here after the commercial break.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Stay tuned. We're not sure if he's going to be here or not. Charlie Furbush will be here in the booth. We'll get some insight on what's going on with this Mariner rotation from him as well. We're live at T-Mobile Park. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
The great Daniel Jeremiah.
Hey, by the way, there's a lot, I did not know this, but there are a lot of transplants from Seattle down in San Diego and Southern California. And I've had a handful of people that I'm friends with that listen religiously to your show on the app down here. So
I'll tell you what,
you guys for making me popular in my friend group.
The day I get fired or retire, I will be joining you and all of those expats in San Diego.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or rain session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and the newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Did you hear?
A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
This is Jill Schlesinger. May is Military Appreciation Month, and I know how much I appreciate the military. I married into a military family. I hear from so many members of the military, and Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. If you're active duty, a veteran, or part of a military family, you're eligible to join. At Navy Federal Credit Union, the members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the estate of late Portland Trail Blazers owner and Seahawks owner Paul Allen has formally put the team up for sale. Talk about the Blazers. With the proceeds going to philanthropic endeavors, they made that announcement today. As part of the announcement, the trust said that the NFL's Seattle Seahawks, which the estate also owns, would not be part of this sale. Neither is the 25% stake in the Seattle Sounders. So the Blazers up for sale, Seahawks and their share of the Sounders not up for sale. Take a look at your baseball scoreboard. First of all, Mariners get back to it tonight. Game 2 of their 3-game series against the New York Yankees. They sent Brian Wu to the hill. He'll face off against Max Fried. Great pitching matchup, which you'll catch right here beginning at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch on Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, games going on right now. Top of the 5th, the Guardians up 1-0 on the Brewers in Cleveland. In Detroit, Tigers out to a 1-0 lead over the Red Sox. That game in the top of the 2nd. Cincinnati and the White Sox in Cincinnati being delayed by weather. That game in the top of the 1st. Blue Jays and Rays set to get together in Toronto. Mets playing host to the Pirates. It's the Braves and Nationals in Atlanta. Cubs and Marlins in Chicago. Rangers playing host to the Rockies in Texas. And the Astros and Royals get together in Houston.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
All right, we've gone to the bullpen. We called for the lefty, another lefty. Ryan's a lefty. We brought in this lefty, a man who was part of a no-hitter, is with us. The one, the only Charlie Furbush. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. By the way, did you see the little? We were in the tunnel in the last night. Adam Ray was throwing out the first pitch, so we were hanging with him in the tunnel. And there's a little painting of you guys up there, a picture of you guys on the wall. The five guys that were 5 or 6, 5, 6, part of the combined no-hitter.
Incredible.
You've seen that.
They put my mug on the wall.
That's
That's
pretty
amazing.
cool.
Now they got to leave it there forever.
You're forever immortalized here at T-Mobile Park. That's pretty cool, right?
That's super cool.
Yeah. I kept telling Left Coach, you see Charlie? There's Furbush. He walked by. He goes, yeah, I know what he looks like.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he didn't care.
I want to take a picture next time. I'm sorry.
Face looks the same, you know. I mean,
you haven't aged
a bit.
But anyway, this is we're in the midst of a 4-game losing streak for the first time this season. And Ryan and I talked a lot about what's been going on. It's unfortunate. It's surprising. Nobody expected the problems with this team to be surrounding the rotation by any stretch. And we're in a weird spot where you're missing 2 guys. You got one guy who's just wildly ineffective right now in Bryce Miller. You got another guy who looks like age might be starting to hit him a bit in Castillo. It feels like you got one guy in the rotation that you really feel like that's our guy, Brian Wu, who was essentially your 5th guy last year, who was outstanding, but didn't even get started until May, and now we're kind of pinning all of our hopes to him. How big of a problem is it right now? Do you feel like, hey, we're going to be fine, these guys are going to come back, and everything's going to be fine, or do you look at it and go, hey, we got some issues that need to be dealt with here?
Yeah, I think everything is fine for the most part, especially with the recent news of Kirby and how he was throwing in Tacoma. Obviously, the most recent outing maybe wasn't results driven, but the fact that he was up to sitting 97, touching 98 just tells me that he is very close. And the fact that Gilbert's going to be hopefully making a comeback too.
He was out here throwing the bullpen.
Yeah,
earlier.
exactly. So hopefully everything went well in that pen. 2 guys that will anchor this rotation given their ability on any given night. So I'm not too worried. First 4-game losing streak. Every team's going to go through something like this where you lose, a handful of games in a row, and against some good teams. So gotta give the boys some credit for everything they've done up until this point. The fact that we're in mid-May sitting in first place in the AL West is not much to complain about. Yeah, it's easy to say, hey, we kind of underperformed against the Blue Jays and it didn't go well against the Yankees, but to your point, or having Gilbert and Kirby back, that would be a game changer of rotation. It puts them back into that, I think, contention zone, knowing how well this offense is playing. So not too worried. Assuming those health issues are taken care of and they can get back, I would be surprised if the rotation doesn't look like it did the last couple of years once those guys get back.
But we also need to allow for those guys to work their way back into form. Maybe more so with Kirby because he had an abbreviated spring training. He hasn't pitched since early March. First week of March is when we were down there, and that's when they shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
Logan, I don't know how long it'll take, but he's obviously had a full spring. He had games this season, so maybe his bounce back is a lot quicker. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, I mean, I think they both, I look at it, they've pitched so well in certain points, and it's easy to expect them to come back and be that pitcher that is just lights out perfect all the time. It seems like, you look at what a quality start is, and they ultimately were doing better than quality starts in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. So I would say the expectation when they get back is just to try and give them to have quality starts, so that you're giving your team a chance to win ball games. It may be easy to think that, as soon as they're healthy, they're just going to be back to normal. They're going to be just like how they were, didn't miss a beat. It just doesn't end up happening that way very often. So I think giving them a little bit of leeway as they get back in and not expecting them to be the Cy Young type pitcher they can be, instead of just being, hey, I need some quality starts out of you so we can get into the 6th and 7th inning. Even if you give up a couple of runs, we've shown that this offense is good enough to bail us out. So just get us a few quality starts and go deeper in the game and maybe not, lower the walk rate big time, and I think he can take care of itself.
Jeff Passanant with Brock and Salk talked about, he was asked whether he was concerned yet about this Mariners rotation. Here's what he said.
This ain't the staff that we've seen the last 3 years. Like that's, I think there's a caveat to all this. And that is that they've been doing this without Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, right? Now, if Gilbert and Kirby come back and the Mariners pitching staff continues to struggle like this, and I think it's reasonable to sound those alarm bells.
He always sounds like he's laying in a cot somewhere. He sounds like he's just on the verge of going to sleep. But, obviously, if they come back and they continue to struggle, there's going to be alarm bells. That's sort of stating the obvious. Castillo and Miller are interesting because Castillo, you look at his game log, he's not been dominant, but he's had some good outings, solid. He's not your ace. He's not going deep into games. It's not what he does. His last one wasn't good. Miller, I don't know what's going on. If he keeps referencing physically, he doesn't feel right. And as we were talking to Ryan about this, saying, well, he's being that verbal to the media about it. I can imagine what he's saying to the team behind closed doors, in which case I believe that they've probably done every test, whether he's not being specific, my arm, my back, what have you, but whatever it is, I've got to believe the team's gone through every MRI and X-ray and, exam and test to feel, because they're not going to run him out there if he's not physically up to par. So I feel like it's maybe more mental with him. But what are you seeing with both of those guys when you're watching Miller out there and when you see Castillo out there, whose velocity has come down from last year? Is that an age thing with him? Give me a thought on both those guys.
Yeah, let's start with Castillo. I do think that we may be witnessing a aging pitcher, start by start in a way right now. I only say that because when you look at peak Luis Castillo, you were looking at upper 90s, and he was throwing hard throughout the entire game. Even, when we got him from Cincinnati, and then next year he was outstanding, really acted as an ace for the staff. And seemingly, I was here for the game the other night, and I was seeing some 92s on the board, and I was like, Castillo, 92, oof. Okay, didn't expect to see that. Maybe he was trying to get some extra sink on the ball and maybe, change speeds that way. But when you look at just the whole repertoire of the day, he just didn't throw that hard, and as seemingly as he was capable, or we think he's capable of. So it's easy to look at him and say, hey, are you okay? You're feeling okay? Your velo's down. And a lot of times as a pitcher, you do feel good. You don't feel like there's anything actually wrong, but for whatever reason, your timing seemingly is off, and you can't seemingly get to that extra gear that you used to have. And it could be a combination of mechanical things, could be some fast twitch muscle things, but what's going to have to happen for Castillo is that if you look at the strike zone, like if you're watching on TV, you look at that strike zone box, just imagine that half of the ball needs to hit the line of the strike zone in order for him to be effective. Because his velo's dropping so much, his pitches are going to be easier to hit knowing that they're slower. So he needs to do a very good job, and you can say this about all pitchers actually, but if you look at the strike zone, how can I throw the most high-quality strikes? It's like if half the ball is out of the zone and half the ball is in the zone.
So he's living on the black.
Yeah, living on the black the entire time. That's the only way that you can kind of continue to evolve and use your skill set to your advantage. But you may be seeing it happen live in person, having to make that adjustment as you go. I remember just, when he came up, same type of thing, upper 90s, incredible pitcher, and then got to see him in his prime and just outstanding. What a teammate, what a player. But, as those years went on, his velo started to go down and had to make some adjustments and how you attack hitters and your approach and what is the most important thing to do is to go deep in games and get quick outs. So if you're used to striking guys out and you just can't seemingly get it by those guys anymore, how do I make an adjustment to continue to be effective? So that's what I pinpoint. It's it's got to be a thing of accuracy where if you realize that I don't have what I used to have, how do I make the adjustment and then still be effective? So you may be witnessing as we go, as this happens, but it is a little concerning anytime you see some velo dropping just because you just don't know whether it is an age thing or an injury thing.
Right.
So it's definitely something to continue to monitor. But he's a veteran pitcher, and I imagine that he's able to figure this out pretty quick and still have some good starts out there. At least I hope. And then when you talk about Miller, I mean, it just feels like he's hit a wall, and I'm not really. I appreciate the physical stuff, and there very well could be multiple physical things, ailments that he's dealing with, and just having to, adjust to what it takes to be a major league starter and throw as many innings and pitches as you have to throw and get your body right to act like to firing on all cylinders and having the timing be as effective as possible and efficient as possible. And when things are out of whack, I always say, like when I was pitching and even other pitchers that I had witnessed when they go through struggles, more often than not, you are your own worst enemy in a way. You're trying so hard and you feel like you are in a good place, but you're not getting the results that you want. But it's like, how many times do I continue trying this approach until I have to try something different? And I think you heard Miller before that last start. I'm going to be more aggressive, and he even said it after the start. I thought he came out pitching better, and I thought his stuff was generally good, but it almost seems like he's missing his ability to throw those high-quality pitches in those pivotal 1-1, 1-2 counts, and it's going too deep in games, right? Or not going too deep in counts and throwing too many pitches, which isn't allowing him to be as competitive as possible.
Yeah, it's would you sit him for a start? Would you? I mean, what's the? He's referenced the physical part so much that I'm a little confused by it, because he referenced it saying even coming out of last year into the offseason, he didn't really quite feel right. He's been dealing with things. He's not being specific. So it's a little cryptic. You're like, all right, are we talking shoulder or elbow, knee, back? It could be a million different things.
For sure.
So he keeps referencing that. But, again, they're running him out there, which tells me they think he's healthy and he's passed all the tests. So would you sit him a start, or how would you deal with it?
No, I think it's, learn by fire. Like, get in there and try and continue to make adjustments. But at the same time, it would be wise for the staff, I'm sure they're already doing this, and even teammates, is how can we do the best job to continue to give Bryce confidence right now? Because if he doesn't have the confidence to go out there and do it, the best of his abilities, you hear kind of his approach of, oh, I don't care, I'm just going to attack, and then it's, oh, I can't let these guys score. I really got to, it's a different approach. So I think having to go through these growing pains, if you will, it can be it can kind of go one of two ways, right? You can accept the challenge and learn from it and continue to make adjustments, or it's going to go the other way and it's going to go south real quick, because these major league hitters know how to hit balls down the middle, and
right.
when you're inaccurate and seemingly can only find the center part of the zone, the major league hitters will do damage on a regular basis. So, I would say from what he's going through, it's like, how can, as a teammate, as a coach, continue to give him confidence and tell him, hey, you are an awesome pitcher. You are really good. Your stuff is some of the best when it's on, so don't forget about it. Don't forget what got you here. And, don't forget about what you're good at. And I think when you're struggling, you end up trying to always work on your weaknesses and try to get better in that sense, but sometimes you got to grab the bull by the horns and say, you know what, these are my best skill sets, and I am going to ride or die with them. So I wouldn't be surprised if next start it may be the most aggressive Bryce Miller you've seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing, because we're not talking about a guy who came up at the end of last year and had 6 or 7 starts, and, man, he looked really good, and now he looks different. Now it's a full season. He's not used to this. He had 31 starts last year, 180 and a third innings pitched, and he ended the season with a 2.94 ERA. So this is a guy who's got that full season of success under his belt, right? This isn't, again, isolating this successful period and, expecting that to be who he is the whole year. We've seen him be that guy the whole year. So
for sure.
It is weird to see it, and it's, the walks are crazy, because right now he's got 21 walks on the season. Castillo's got 18. I mean, both these guys are throwing a lot of pitches. You talk about living on the black with Castillo. I don't know if he can. He doesn't. Either of these guys seem to have their command.
Right.
So they're walking. There's tons of traffic, a lot of deep counts, a lot of high pitch inning, 26, 25 pitches in an inning. It just, and how you get out of that. I mean, I guess I have more faith at Castillo, who's probably been through it decidedly more than Bryce. Obviously, is maybe more certain in how to fix it. Now, can he do it? We'll find out with the velocity coming down. Can he find that command to live on the black?
Yeah.
We'll see. Bryce, this is all new.
For sure. I mean, I look at the rotation. I've always described it as that's why they are such a, unicorn. They had 5 starting pitchers that were throwing 95 plus. Now, if that is changing, then adjustments need to be made. Right? It's like, okay, I hope Castillo can make the adjustment, and I know that he has the pitching IQ and self-awareness to make adjustments. You just, when you do it for so long, like Castillo has, you kind of learn what to do, what not to do, what you can get away with, what you can't get away with along the whole process of 30 plus starts each season. So you end up making adjustments along the way and learning from failed experiences in the past where you maybe wanted to try something new and it bit you in the rear end, didn't work. So you learn from that and you move forward. But the whole velo drop thing is definitely going to be, I think, of concern not only for the Mariners. I think Castillo's probably going to brush it off, but it's definitely in the back of his mind, like, all right, I might have to pitch a little different now, and that's okay.
Yeah. A little more from Jeff Passan here. He was asked, in his opinion, what's going on with Castillo and Miller.
I'm going to answer both of them at once because they both have the same problem. They're not striking out enough guys, and they're walking too many.
Yeah.
And that is a recipe for disaster right there. The beauty of this Mariners staff over the last few years, guys, is Gilbert came up, as Kirby came up, as Miller and Wu came up and cemented themselves in this rotation, is that all 5 guys punch guys out and all 5 guys don't walk people.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple view of it. They're walking too many guys, not striking out enough guys. Okay, well, why is that the case, I guess, is the bigger question for me. We talked about age, maybe in Castillo's case being something, the velocity coming down from what he was. Passan explains one way he feels Castillo could adapt to what's going on.
I think that depends on who the guy is and his pitch ability. And that's why, to me, it's confusing with Luis Castillo.
Can you explain that term?
Pitchability is with the stuff that you have, what you are capable of doing with it. It's essentially a term that's used for guys who don't throw particularly hard and yet still find a way to be effective. And, there are examples of this all around Major League Baseball. I think a guy like Michael Wacha is really interesting.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's aging pitchers. Sorry,
buy
I
that?
had a little audio cut out here.
Oh, okay. You weren't hearing. He was talking about pitchability.
Pitchability, yeah.
Yeah, and just talking about a guy who's got a declining or just doesn't have the velocity, but finding ways to be effective. I mean, we saw the biggest example maybe ever in baseball, Jamie Moyer.
For sure.
The guy, did he ever touch 90? If he did, it was a handful of times. Yeah, he was wildly effective and had guys off balance. So that's a great example of pitchability there.
There's a bunch of guys out there, right? When you look at it, I look at a guy like Kyle Hendricks.
Yeah.
Throws 87 and knows how to pitch. And that's the name of the game is, being able to throw all of your pitches for strikes whenever you want to throw them, right? I think that's where accuracy becomes paramount. Like, it's easy when you throw that hard, like the 95 plus 98, it's like you just grip it and you rip it and you try to blow by them. Like there's a lot of that happens when you throw that hard because it's a really hard pitch to hit. And if you can locate it even more so, then you can maybe just get away with throwing fastball. But if you're not throwing that hard, you have to be super accurate. And I almost look at it like in golf, right? Like, you want to go up there and you want to hit the biggest drive in the world. You want to grip it and rip it. Just, let's go. Here we go. But ultimately, you end up hitting a lot of foul balls and a lot of balls, what I like to call off property.
I've done that a time at 12.
Yeah. So you realize that you need to be accurate and you need to maybe tone it down and figure out ways to find the fairway, aka find the strike zone and find the high quality part of the strike zone. So having to, I guess, see where that skill set is. Passan mentions pitchability. I think you may not have that skill set, I guess, challenged until you're in that situation. Does that make sense? Like, you're not thinking about pitchability when you're just blowing guys away, when you're just throwing cheese and striking guys out. It's not on your mind. And now, when performance isn't where you want it to be, what are the pitches I have? Because then that's the other thing that goes on within your own mental psyche is, am I even confident in my own pitches now? Like, I don't have it like it used to. I got to make an adjustment, and every time I throw it up there, I feel like it's going to get hit. So that's where the pitchability is key, but the confidence that you can carry, even knowing you don't have your best stuff, that's going to be the biggest difference. Is that, okay, I'm now going to look at myself in the mirror and realize, yep, I look different. You know what I mean? Or like I'm a different pitcher. Yeah, I'm a different guy. So I need to do different tactics. I need to train differently. I need to do everything different than maybe what I'm used to, and have to make that adjustment on the fly. And yes, it's tough to do it at the highest level, right? It's like it's kind of hard to mimic in the off season making that adjustment. So you kind of go through it when you go through it in the big league season, and then ideally once you go through it once, you know what you can and can't do, and you can ideally ride that next wave or train of your career for another couple of years.
It's all connected. Starters, bullpen, and we're going to dive into some of our expectation for this Mariners bullpen. Coming up as we continue live from T-Mobile Park, it's Wyman and Bob with Charlie Furbush in at Seattle Sports on 710.
Bump and Stacy.
Jason Churchill joining us now. Might we be staring at a potential gap where you're still waiting on production from your pitchers and the offense has come back down to earth?
If I would have told you after about 40 games, hey, the Mariners are going to be in first place, George Kirby will have not pitched, and the thing that's led them to this record would be the lineup, the offense, the run scoring, I think every single fan would have been like, okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Summer is on everyone's mind, and many of us ladies, well, you men too, would like to get rid of that extra stubborn fat and address those areas of loose skin like around the waistline, chin, and upper arms. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without getting the results you were hoping for. Introducing ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. ProSculpt is minimally invasive, performed while you're fully awake, and it's gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate and permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation, and for a limited time, get $250 off. Feel confident this summer with instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening that works for women and men too. ProSculpt.com.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are live at T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Charlie Furbush in, taking you up to Mariners pregame at 5:30, 6:40 first pitch. Great pitching matchup tonight with Brian Wu going for the Mariners, Max Fried for the Yankees. Mariners looking to snap this 4-game losing streak, their first 4-game losing streak of the season. And you know what? During this 4-game losing streak, each pitcher has only gone 5 innings. They've all gone exactly 5 innings with varying degrees of awful. The best start in all 4 of them has been Logan Evans. He gave up 3 runs. Expectations for him are much more muted than the other guys, certainly. But, you know, he gave you a chance to win 5 innings, 3 runs. You're like, okay, I'll take that, his 3rd career start. The other guys, not so much. It hasn't been good, so hopefully that changes. But what it's done is put a tremendous amount of strain on the bullpen, as we've seen. And you know, right now you don't have Matt Brash the way you've had him in the past, where you can just keep running them out there. They're baby stepping him, which they should, and I totally get it. Munoz has been used a lot so far this year. Obviously not in the last 4 games. He's not been needed. But I'm curious, when you look at that bullpen, who do you trust outside of Munoz? Who do you trust the most in there? And I guess we'll probably remove Brash just because he can't be thrown in at any given moment. They're still working him in, because I'm looking at they brought Troy Taylor back up. He's a guy who last year gave up he pitched 19 in the 3rd innings last year and gave up 8 runs. So far he's pitched 6 innings this year. He's given up 8 runs. So it's, he's off to a rough start. I don't know if that's just a guy working his way back in, or if he's kind of where Bryce Miller is. He's searching for it mentally. What are you seeing there, and who do you really look at in that bullpen that you feel good about when they come into the game?
Yeah, obviously Munoz is notwithstanding. He's been outstanding, and what an anchor in the bullpen. It's really hard not to pick Gabe Spire. It's really hard not to pick him in the situations that he's come in. And, I mean, talk about command out of the bullpen. A guy that's come in and is firing strikes, strike one, strike two. It's seemingly every at-bat he is getting ahead. So I look at him, and he's made such a big jump this year. And I honestly, the way he's been, pitching, I'd almost argue to put him in some more big spots, just riding the streak of pitching well.
Would you, even if you got a string of righties coming up? Okay.
Yeah. I think that the way that he's attacking hitters right now, and I know playing the matchup game, I get it. I understand that, but I think at some point or another, that's not always going to work, right? So challenging your bullpen guys to face another hitter, another righty, another lefty, especially when they're going good. I feel this way, and when I've talked with bullpen guys, and I know it still exists. It's when you're rolling and you're pitching well and things are clicking, it doesn't matter who's out there. It just doesn't matter. Like you're in control of the situation in terms of your own ability to throw strikes whenever you want. So that's where I look at Spire in terms of how quick he's been working when his opportunities called. So I think he can get him some more opportunities. Yeah, you mentioned Troy Taylor, and I see somebody that is really, really wanting to be that guy again and kind of pick up where he left off last year. Now I think you still have the ability to get there, but you look at where he's at from a strike standpoint and a quality strike standpoint, it just comes back down to he's throwing too many pitches over the middle of the plate, and he's throwing too many balls that aren't even competitive. So when you mix these two, you end up just with a tough recipe to, feel good about what's going on out there. And as a young guy, I know that second year when I came up, it was like, all right, you just took in so much from your rookie year, and it went well, and you're just excited to continue to try and do what you did last year and build off that. But you realize that it can quickly go south, a bad performance or two. And how do you realize, or how do you get yourself into the mentality that it's going to be okay if you have a bad outing, but just try not to let this carry over into the next outing. So I think that's maybe some of the stuff, what I'm seeing maybe from Taylor is it's not necessarily carrying over everything from the previous outing, but the adjustments aren't seemingly made as the way you'd want them to from the previous outing. Okay, I realize that I didn't perform well. There's things I need to make adjustments on. And in the bullpen, you don't have any time. That's the thing that I think everyone seemingly expects. When you come out of the bullpen, people are like, you better be the most perfect pitcher we've ever seen. There's really no room for error because, and a lot of times you have to come in and pick up the starter's
Clean up a mess.
Yeah. Yep. So it's oh man, I got to be on today. I have to be on.
There's no warming up out on the on the bump out here. I mean?
So it's just how do I get myself to figure that part out so that when my time is called, no matter what the situation accounts for, I know that I can get the job done, or at least do what I'm capable of. And if I get beat, I get beat.
Yeah.
Right? I don't beat myself.
Yeah. I'm with you on Spire. He's been fantastic. The other guy I threw out there is a guy that I have, removing Munoz, removing Brash.
I think I know where you're going.
Well, it was Vargas.
Okay, that's not where.
And then he immediately gave up a 3 spot to the Blue Jays. I thought he'd been pretty solid. His command sometimes is a little uncertain, but he'd been pretty effective up until
before you say that, you bring up. I think you're right. Vargas has done a great job. A couple nights ago, when Vargas gave it up, he pitched in the 8th inning, and I was actually in favor of Brash pitching the 8th inning and having Vargas come in the 7th. They gave Brash the 7th inning and maybe a little lesser, intensity, if you will.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, it's the exact same intensity. It's a 3-3 ball game. It's a tie ball game. You're bringing him into essentially a high leverage situation. So in my mind, what's the difference between throwing him in the 7th and 8th inning? So maybe you get a different result. Maybe Vargy doesn't give up that 3-run jack because he's facing 3 different hitters, right? So it just could be a different outcome. Now, let's hear where you're going.
Well, I mean, just another kind of dark horse guy. I don't think he's dominant, but he's been pretty effective considering he's kind of an unknown, was Legumina.
Legs.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I haven't seen I know he's got 12 innings under his belt. I haven't seen enough to go, yeah, that's the guy for this situation. But he's kind of creeping there when we're talking about, well, Troy Taylor's struggling. Luzardo can look really good, and then he can look really not so good. You know, there's a little unevenness to him. And, again, I'm removing Munoz, obviously, and Brash, so that leaves me Spire. And then I'm going, all right, then who else? Well, then it's Vargas and Legumina's the other guy that's kind of caught my eye.
With Thornton out with the appendicitis, I don't know.
He was another guy who was kind of...
But he can also give you some really quality innings. So I don't know what the recovery rate on that is.
Ryan was actually telling us because he had appendicitis.
Oh, no way.
And he was saying the idea that he's going to be back in 3 weeks. He's like, no. No. That's according to Ryan.
I get it.
Yeah, medicine's advanced since his day. He's an old guy.
That's right.
So, there have been great advancements in recovery.
But, Legumina, you're right. He has been an absolute bright spot. And he's kind of fun to watch. He works pretty quick, and he's able to really attack the upper half of the strike zone so effectively. And when you watch him pitch, it almost looks like he throws this, like, rise fastball where, like, it just seemingly keeps rising from his release point. And that's just, it's an incredibly effective pitch because as a hitter, you go, I need to get, like, it looks like a ball you're going to crush. Like, he's throwing me a meatball. And then it rides, and then you swing right underneath it. So that's been a super effective pitch, and he's landing that slider or sweeper when he needs to. So,
and he's another classic Mariner in that you look at their numbers. You're not familiar. I mean, I'm not familiar with Casey Legumina coming in here. He pitched for the Reds last year, and you look at their numbers and go, huh. Ugh. You know, he pitched in 6 games, gave up 9 earned runs in 6 games. He had an 8.68 ERA. Comes here, he's pitched in 12 games. He's got a 2.25 ERA.
Think about what you learned, though.
It's what they've done. They did it with Topa. They did it with Sewald. They just have a knack for finding these guys. You look at their previous numbers going, okay, I don't expect a ton. And then they come here and they become effective. And I don't know what that is, what kind of voodoo they're working, but I like it.
There's a physical aspect, there's a mental aspect, right? I mean, the physical aspect can easily be the Mariners are seeing things that other teams aren't seeing. And I would absolutely say that's true based on the success of pitchers year over year that they've brought up. That's just without a doubt. And then, that's all I got, actually.
Well put. All right, coming up, last night's Mariners game was at the center of the sports world. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob, Charlie Furbush in. We are live at T-Mobile Park. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
After a month as baseball's hottest team, the Mariners have hit a bump in the road.
Julio back. He spins around at the wall, makes a leap. It's gone.
Tough one all around tonight.
I found myself thinking about these 2 Dan Wilsons.
So I'll just stick with the confidence building, Dan. Wants these guys to be empowered.
Tonight, he's been the Mariners' ace so far this season. Can Brian Wu deliver a sorely needed dub? Mariners, Yankees. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners. Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi power boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet Plus One Unlimited Welcome Line and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One Unlimited Starter SL Line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafee and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Well, there was a lot happening yesterday here at this Mariners game that got the attention of everything around sports, including Sam Darnold, who was in a suite celebrating his good friend Adam Ray, both of them as well, throwing out the first pitch. McDonald and Adam Ray throw out the first pitch, and then later Sam Darnold was shown on the video board here, wearing a hot dog hat. Pretty cool moment there. But earlier in the day, he also had an interview with USA Today Sports, and he was breaking down what impressed him the most about Mike McDonald.
He's got such a great energy about him, and he really knows ball too. Like he loves diving into the weeds on certain concepts or certain situations in games, and that's the biggest thing that you want to get a feel for the head coach with, is kind of what we're thinking in certain situations, like late in 2-minute drives, like when are we gonna bang a timeout, when are we gonna maybe try to go for it on 4th and short or 3rd and short, like what's kind of the mindset there, and just kind of those little details that you want to talk about and get to know your head coach on. And so it's been good to really, just continue to get to know him and kind of his personality.
Yeah, it's interesting because we had a chance to kind of chat him up yesterday. He was up there, and John Schneider was up there, and Mike McDonald was up there, and Sam Darnold, and they seem to have a great relationship. Just watching those guys just hang out loose together, and I'm excited to see what it is that what they can do together out there. And Sam Darnold's such an interesting guy because his career was one way for 6 years, and then last year it was a complete 180 in a good way, except for the last 2 games, the most consequential games of the season. So I think there's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of curiosity around Sam Darnold, and him being, that in favor of his head coach, really appreciating who he is and taking to how he conducts himself, I think is a very big deal for a new guy.
Start of a great relationship, hopefully.
Yeah.
Really, exciting.
Wow, I guess Matt didn't want to hear any more.
That's all you had to say, Charlie.
I didn't need to hear
no more
any
thoughts
more
on that
baseball
topic.
Guy talking about football, okay?
Matt's just putting his foot down.
I guess we need football guys talking about baseball, huh, Matt?
We can have another baseball topic, although this is kind of a frustrating one. So, New York media, tough on players, obviously. They're tough on their own broadcasters as well. Boomer Esiason discovered that Dave Sims had skipped the A's series because he wanted to come here to Seattle and enjoy a few days here before he was at the ballpark yesterday. He's not skipping any more time. We saw him here. He called the game. But Boomer Esiason on morning radio in New York City just did not like that Dave Sims already was skipping time on the job.
Yeah, Mother's Day weekend. Maybe he wanted to see family.
He's from New York.
Oh, he's got some family out there. But he was in Seattle for 15 years?
Yeah. All right. So
maybe their kids live out there and they
did
wanted
you sign
to see.
a deal to do the Yankees?
I don't know.
I mean, John Sterling didn't miss any games, did he?
He did not miss many games. At the end, he missed a couple.
Well, if he did, because he was sick or something.
Right.
Or because, he was in his 80s and he didn't want to travel to certain games because of COVID.
But he
I
did
understand
do,
that.
2,000 straight games, something like that?
He did. But what I'm saying, you just take a week off?
No, it wasn't a week. It was a weekend.
I'm sorry. I love Dave Sims, but unless there's something major going on that I don't know about, then I'll gladly retract the criticism.
Otherwise, get your ass in the booth.
Yeah, what are you doing? You just took the Yankee job. It's supposed to be the job of your life.
Hey, Boomer, why don't you just shut your face? How about that, huh? First of all, you had no idea what John Sterling was doing. You go, what? Was it because of this? Was it? He only did it because of maybe that? First of all, he's speaking from a point of expertise about Sterling and why he missed games, and clearly saying, I'm not really sure. Was it this? Was it COVID? Was he sick? Was it? You don't know. You don't know why he missed. So you're mad at Dave Sims for taking a couple of extra days to spend time in a city that he occupied for, close to 2 decades. I hope Boomer will be able to get over it. I hope he's going to be okay.
You're mad at him, and then you're like, well, I really like him. Come on.
What do you think of that, Riz?
I thought it was ridiculous.
Insane.
Absolutely. David came up to Seattle while the team was in Sacramento, knowing that the Yankees were on the way to Seattle after the series against the A's, and he wanted to spend time with his kids here.
Yeah.
And what a great opportunity, because how often do you get a chance when you're on the East Coast to see your kids on the West Coast? And, he took 3 days off
Yeah.
to spend time with his kids.
And I think, is his son getting married or something? Or something along the he was mentioning something. But you're right. He's come to see family.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he's lounging on a beach somewhere going, I need a break.
Boomer's way off base to criticize anybody. Look into the facts on why somebody did what they did, and then either don't say anything, which is the right thing to do, or if you didn't agree with it, I guess. But in this case, nothing to disagree with Dave Sims taking 3 days off.
Also,
to be with his family.
Yeah.
Also, I was say, Rick. Yeah. Also, is Boomer Esiason working weekends? No, I don't think so. His talk show is Monday through Friday. So,
Listen, the great Rick Riz has spoken, and that's all that needs to be said. Boomer, shut your face.
It's ridiculous. All right.
Don't you apologize. Don't you?
No, that's what you're here for. We needed your insight, Riz, and we knew you'd have some good stuff to say there. So that's why I picked that. I thought we'd all agree that Boomer Esiason's out of line. You just dropped the okay Boomer on him. So, all right, we move on to Mike Greenberg. Actually has kind of a good idea, a plea for the NFL to go to a draft lottery, because the NBA has a lottery. The Mavs, with a 1.8% chance of winning the lottery, won the number 1 overall pick last night. So the NBA, the NHL, and MLB have lotteries, and NFL does not, and Mike Greenberg wants that to change.
Incentivizing losing is the worst mistake any sport can possibly make, any sports league can make. And as a result, I think it is great news. People saying, oh, this isn't working because the worst teams aren't getting the pick. Shut up. That's exactly the wrong way to look at it. This way, win games. Go out there and win games and see what happens. And you know what should happen? The NFL should add this?
Yes.
Every sport should add this.
Yes.
The lottery is a brilliant idea, and I would completely favor, I know Shefty was on talking about it on the radio this morning. I would absolutely be in favor of the NFL going to some sort of draft lottery so you stop with the tanking, which is the worst thing in sport.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with it. Yeah, absolutely. I would be in favor of that. It gives you incentive to keep chewing your bed. Go out there and actually try and give the fans that paid money, especially season ticket holders, a reason to show up out there. That, hey, these guys might actually leave it all out there on the field, regardless of how the season has gone. So I may see a win. I may see my favorite players play well and play to their potential. So
imagine that.
Yeah, I'm with them on that. I've got no issues with that. What about you?
No, same.
You better get your thoughts in quick before Matt slams the door on you.
Slams it, right in my face. No, I
got a break too, Charlie. Hurry up. Let's go.
He's got an itchy finger.
I totally agree. Get rid of tanking. I mean, just be way more enjoyable for all those teams, especially small markets.
Yeah, there you go. Was that okay, Matt?
Let's just move it along. Come on.
All right. We're going to get an important Logan Gilbert update from our Mariners insider, Shannon Dreher. Plus, we are 40 games in, so what have we learned about this Mariners team? We'll get into all of that as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Charlie Furbush in at Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
A quick question / maybe unpopular take.
Yes.
I totally understand graduation gifts in high school.
Okay.
Here's $100. Here's this. Here's that. Like graduation gifts in college?
Why not? Almost more so. I think that would make sense.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you talked about setting someone up for the rest of their life. For the most part, you're going off for high school.
I mean, they've done
kids.
that with their degree. Like, God bless them. You think it's appropriate, like, collegiate graduation gift?
Because then you're actually, like, going out to start a real life.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Something amazing is happening in business. More companies are turning to Mac. From finance to fulfillment, CDW will seamlessly support Mac integration into your organization. With the power of Apple Silicon, best-in-class security, and compatibility across your favorite apps, your team will have the performance they need and the tools they love. Make amazing happen. Mac and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/Apple.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in your game days now.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Tough news for the Boston Celtics. They announced today their star forward Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a ruptured right Achilles tendon this afternoon after suffering that injury late in the fourth quarter of last night's Game 4 loss to the New York Knicks. The team said the surgery was a success, but no timetable is available before his return. He was in the midst of one of the best playoff games of his career, scoring 42 points on 16 for 28 shooting before he crumpled to the ground in pain with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of that game. Meanwhile, take a look at your baseball scoreboard. The Mariners get back to it tonight, Game 2 of their 3-game series against the New York Yankees. They send Bryan Woo to the hill. He'll face off against Max Fried. Great pitching matchup in this one. You can catch it all beginning at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob with Charlie Furbush in for Dave Wyman. We'll turn you over to the pregame show coming up at the bottom of the hour, 5:30, 6:40 first pitch. Talking about what's going on with his team. Guys battling back from injury. George Kirby getting some rehab starts. He's got one more rehab start before they bring him back up with the big club, assuming everything goes okay. And then we saw some interesting things out here on the field today, most notably Logan Gilbert out there with a bullpen session, and our Mariners insider Shannon Dreher, who's also up here in the booth with us, had the opportunity to catch up with Logan after the bullpen session. What'd you learn?
Yeah, that was something. I spoke with Logan, spoke with one of the pitching coaches, spoke with Mitch Garver, who caught him as well. And Garver was the first one that I talked to, and gave him the thumbs up, and he's like, yeah, thumbs up. And okay, what, about 75% intensity? He's like, no, 90. Ooh. And then that was confirmed by the pitching coach, and then we spoke with Logan as well. Yesterday, he got up on the mound for the first time and just kind of lightly threw, and they said, yeah, he's going to throw a bullpen tomorrow, which sounded a little bit surprising, but everything is going well for him. He threw about 25 to 30 pitches. He was at about 90% intensity throwing all of his pitches, and then the last few, they said, go ahead and just take it up to 94, 95 if you want. He was sitting at a, quote, easy 92, 93, and then got up to 94, 95 on the last couple of pitches. And he's probably going to kind of have a little throwing program where he's throwing for 3 days and then take a day off and throw another bullpen and then go from there. And so he is really, really quickly coming back. He said that, they've gone over everything and have tried to figure out what it was that caused the discomfort that he was dealing with. Yes, right. And what caused the just very, very mild strain. And he said they really don't know. He thinks it was probably just random. He does all sorts of different things to stay healthy and stay, arm healthy. And was it one of those things? Probably not. Maybe it was, one pitch. Maybe it was some things that were building up. They really haven't been able to isolate it. But he said that he has not really had a problem since, and everything felt great out there today. Of course, the next day is always the test, but so far that's a test that he just keeps passing.
So will he get rehab starts, or would he?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they'll send him down.
Yeah.
Get him.
I would imagine probably 2 at a minimum for him.
Because the expectation, at least from my perspective, is this is a guy who had a full spring training, started the season.
Yeah.
He'd ramped up versus Kirby, who had an abbreviated spring training, obviously has not pitched up until these starts. So seeing a version of Kirby we're used to may take a little longer than it takes for Logan. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I think we saw that in his first 2 outings. His first outing was lights out, and, the velocity was there, the command was there. And the second outing, it wasn't a poor outing, but he walked a couple of batters, and that tells you that, okay, he does not normally do that. He is still kind of getting some feel back. It's one thing to do it in a side session. It's one thing to do it in a live BP. It's another thing to do it in an actual game. And you think about him as the first game coming out of spring training. That's basically what it's going to be for him when he gets out there the first time.
Well, that's good news. Good news on Logan. And, boy, it's just weird. The game he left, he was dealing. What was it, 9 up, 9 down? He was rolling.
But wisely got himself out of there when something felt off.
Yeah. All right, Shannon, we appreciate it. There you
got
go.
it.
Our Mariners insider, Shannon Dreher, with some good news. So
great news.
The cavalry's on its way back. Hopefully this team can sustain until then, right? Hold it all together, because we've got other concerns within this lineup that or this rotation we've been talking about. Whether it's Bryce Miller, whether it's Luis Castillo. 40 games. For you as a player, I've asked a lot of different writers and former players about this. How far into a season before you feel like, I know who this team is? I know, and everybody's got a bit of a different answer. They're like, oh, by this day. For me, it's always been kind of 40 games is what I would, I'm not going to overreact, good or bad, to what happens in game 20. Let's see what goes on after about 40 games. For you as a former player and watching the game now, how far into a season?
Yeah, I think 2 months in gives you a really good, idea of what you have on hand. But I don't know if that generally is going to tell the story. Does that make sense? Like, okay, you're sitting in first place, let's say, at the end of this month, and everything's looking good. There's still a lot of baseball left.
Right.
So, I almost, in a way, I'd almost argue that it's more, instead of that, like, June 1st, it's more of that, like, July 1st, July 15th, maybe just before the trade deadline, because at that point you
want to give me your answer at the end of the season?
Maybe. Yeah. Well, I know. I just feel like, you have a chance then, to change what had happened in those first few months, right? Like by subtraction or addition. So, generally 60 to 90 days after the season starts, I'd say you have a very good idea of who you have on hand and then how they're able to perform given the situations they've been in. The up and downs, the back-to-backs, the streaks of offers or what have you. So it gives you a sense of, like, one, if they fail, which everyone does, how you bounce back through that.
Right.
Because there are some times where you just may be playing so well those first few months, and then you kind of, you
hit a valley.
You fall off the cliff there, you know, and it's like, it's interesting how the game works when you play that many 162, because it's not necessarily how you start. Obviously it's how you finish, but who can do it the most throughout the 6 months is just it's always tough to figure out. But I think
is it different for you now than it was, like, as a player? Did you feel like, I don't know, maybe you felt like coming out of spring training you had a good idea of what this team was? I don't know. Is it different now versus when you were playing?
No, not really. I would say, those first few months too, like, the other thing that goes on that really can kind of, like, jumpstart everything is the camaraderie and relationships you build with the team.
Right.
So, because there's a lot. I mean, when you look at most rosters, how many rosters are full of guys on multi-year contracts? Not that many, right? I mean, even in the Mariners, there's not like a ton of guys that are like, oh, we're on multi-year contracts. We're going to be here year over year over year.
Yeah.
So you're really trying to do everything you can in your power to stay on the team that whole season and ideally earn a contract for the next season. And in a lot of ways, having a good relationship with your team, your coaches, the staff, all that stuff goes so much further than the stat sheet. So, it's certainly an interesting thing to look at. Like, okay, what do the Mariners look like right now? What are they going to look like at the All-Star break? Is it going to change that much? I don't know. I mean, I think the biggest question is still the starting pitching. It's been the bread and butter of this team for the last couple of years, and when suddenly there's a crack, you go, okay, how is this team going to adapt? And honestly, a lot of us, I think, would be surprised that if you told us that the rotation would not be where it's at, that the team would still be in first place.
What do you, to this point, as far as what you've seen, what are you most confident in that's what it's going to be throughout the rest of the year? And it could be an individual. Like, is Polanco going to be this guy in your mind? It doesn't, obviously anything can happen to anybody, but just you believe what he's doing is real, or you believe the offense as a whole, what they're doing is real, and we're going to see that the rest of the year, or the bullpen? What stands out to you, something you go, you know what, I'd bet on that being the case for this group or this individual for the rest of the season?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's a no-brainer with Munoz.
Right. Well, I predict he'll give up a run somewhere.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
We're holding him to a crazy standard, but I'm going to go ahead and say he's not going to have a 0 ERA at the end of the season.
No, but yeah, you bring up a great player in Polanco. I actually, the adjustments he's made, seemingly closing his front side a little longer, keeping that front hip closed so he's not so open and able to stay on the ball and stay through the zone a little longer. The thing I've noticed this year is that, of the pitches that he's getting, he's getting a good amount of pitches, like to hit, right? And when he's pulling the trigger, he's not missing. So what I've seen is that's the adjustment he's made. He's able to, take the opportunities he has and actually do something with them. So a guy that I actually am very confident in based on even the homer last night, right? I mean, a guy that turned and burned on one that was, he looked so ready to hit that pitch. And when you get a guy and a hitter that is looking like he's ready to hit, that guy can do damage. And we've seen it, right? And I would be fully confident that his ability to continue to stay on this stretch will be there. I wouldn't be surprised if he's still the same type of player come August, September. Maybe his numbers take a little bit dip and even out in a lot of ways, but he's a guy that is going to, I think, hold down this lineup and be a force.
My guy that I'm just buying into the change is J.P. Crawford.
Oh, that was my second guess. Yeah,
because we've seen it from him before. We saw it the season before last, and then last year he was dealing with injuries. Some were public, some weren't. But obviously they had a huge impact on what we saw, which wasn't great last year. It was a down year for him, arguably in the field and at the plate. But I just think you've seen a different approach, a different confidence with him. He started out a little bit slow, and then once he's gotten going, he's been rolling, man. And I don't know if he's going to have an almost 400 on base all season. Maybe he's going to come back a little bit. But I think for the most part, what you're seeing out of him and the way he's done it game in, game out, it doesn't represent just a hot streak to me. It just looks like a guy who, A, is healthy, and B, has a strong belief in what he's doing, and it's you're seeing it. You're seeing the results of it. So
I agree.
He'd be the guy that I'd say, has had a big change from who he was last year, and that I'm buying that change, that this is who he is.
He could be off to a career season the way he's been playing right now. I think if he can continue to hit the ball like he's hitting it, it's just it's another, I think we talked about this before the season started, like, all right, what's this lineup going to look like? Who's going to be the guy? And we always look at Cal, we look at Julio, and those will always be the guys. But, you bring up a J.P. Crawford, the lineup takes a massive hit when JP's not playing like JP. And clearly when he's playing like he's playing, you can see it's a different game, different lineup. And knowing that you got to go through him just makes the whole challenge even that much harder. So between him and Polanco, it's like, okay, this is a formidable lineup, and they're playing to their up to their ability right now.
Yeah, and he's a guy that, when he was initially rolling, he started getting hot when he was hitting at the bottom of the lineup. Then they moved him up to that 7 spot. And he was still rolling, and I was like, God, one of our conversation was, do you move him in that leadoff spot? He's been there, obviously, before. Robles is out. Do you put him in there, or do you say, hey, it ain't broke. I'm not trying to fix it. I don't want to mess with him. And at the time, I think we're all of the belief, like, let's just let him keep rolling where he's at, not disrupt it. Well, he made the adjustment. He gets put in that leadoff spot, and he's just kept it going.
Yeah.
And that for me, told me, all right, yeah, he's dialed in. He's got it.
I mean, what do you think? I truly kind of believe, I do, that the lineup is best is when JP is leading off. When he's playing up to JP's ability, I think the best lineup they can start with is putting him at the leadoff spot.
Do you feel that way when Robles is here?
Well, different story, right? We're talking, obviously when
as
Robles
we sit
is here,
now, right?
Yeah,
as
we sit right now, I think the best chance, moving forward is to have JP in the leadoff spot and being as effective as he is.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't think that the lineup is as efficient or as good if he's in that 7-hole or 9-hole. It's like, okay, and there's a reason he's down there. You know what I mean?
What about somebody who maybe is on the negative side that you're looking at going, okay, that's not this. This is going to change in a positive way. What we're seeing right now with this, maybe it's a group, maybe it's an individual that you go, that's going to be different when it's all said and done.
Yeah, a couple guys come to mind. I mean, still got a bunch of question marks with Solano. Not really.
Yeah.
Just looking for some more production, right? I think he, if we saw a nice, let's just say a 2-3 hit game, it gives me some confidence that he's, not far off. So that's a question mark, and I think I love watching him play. I think he'd be a great teammate, but I do have question marks about Tellez at first base as well. I think the power is there, but the inefficiency is also there. Yeah. So as a premium position, I think that's a little bit of a question mark. I obviously he's come up with some big hits, seemingly all against the Blue Jays.
Yeah. Torturing his old team.
But yeah, I think those are a couple question marks that I think you could look at and say, and I'm sure they're already looking at, how do we improve this roster? What are things we can do? Are there guys in the minors that we can rely on, or do we have to look elsewhere outside the organization?
Yeah, the problem with what you just identified is they both play the same spot. I know Solano can play a couple other spots, but like today he's in the lineup and he's playing first base. That's a thumper spot. That's a spot you need production out of.
It's been a question mark for a while.
Yeah.
So it's not weird to hear it. It's just the way it is right now.
And it's not, maybe when Luke Raley gets back, is he going to be an answer there? I didn't love his defense at first, but I loved who he was at the plate last year. He got off to a slow start this year before he got hurt. He was not hitting well. So we'll see what he looks like when he gets back. I, like you, I've asked the question on Twitter. Like, I'm still trying to figure out what it is Solano brings to the table, because I don't really know what it is to this point. They got there are a lot of responses, some we can't read on the air, but just I get that they wanted a veteran, a Justin Turner veteran presence who can be that guy, right? He's a 37-year-old who's seen it all. He's been in the league for over a decade. He brings that element to the clubhouse, but he's giving you virtually nothing on the field. I mean, we're talking about, what is he hitting? 143 with a 155 on base.
Yeah.
He's got one run batted in.
Well, you also look at like the first baseman production. They're kind of doing this like lefty-righty matchup. Like you see it tonight, Solano's in there facing Fried, and as he's a lefty, it makes sense. Don't want to have Tellez going. So I think the question actually is, who else do they have that they can bring up and in a way replace both of them? Because, I mean, that's the idea, right? It's like to not have a platoon at first base.
Right.
Someone that can be there every day.
Well, and Locklear's your guy in the minor leagues, but I don't...
Is he ready? And that's where I think, does he have enough impact right now to come up and do anything, or does he need more seasoning in the minors? And that's why Solano's still on the roster, because internally there really isn't any other option right now. And externally they go, okay, well, that's going to cost some money and some prospects. So... Where are we at right now? Is this a like we can try and go down every avenue and uncover every stone, but we may be back in the same position we are today and realize that the Tellez-Solano combo at first is the best thing we got going.
It might be the only option you've got going, because I don't know that Locklear is an option right now. I think he does okay at the minor league level, but there's so much swing and miss, and we saw him look a little overmatched when he was up here last year. So, I don't know if they want to break his spirit or break his confidence by bringing him up here. If they don't feel like he's ready, then I'm not.
Yeah, but I mean, if you put this team 10 games up 500 around the All-Star break, and you're looking to run with AL West, there's a move to be made that can immensely improve your roster. So I think the opportunity and the timing isn't right in that situation, right? Like there's still some development on the minor league side, and then who's available on the free agent side or the trade side, like where do we go there and how do we get the best return on our investment? So there's a little bit of timing issue. So I think as the season progresses and if the Mariners continue to win and run the AL West like they are right now, there'll be some moves to be made to improve this team, because they, you see it, the time to win is small. And so when you have a chance, you kind of have to throw the chips all in.
Well, we played a cut earlier from Jeff Passan, who said the Mariners are quite good. They're not great. He said they're quite good. Is that good enough in your opinion to win this division? Because it feels like this is kind of the division that's up for grabs, and nobody's really running away. The Mariners aren't running away with it. The Rangers have, I think, quietly won 3 in a row. They're still a team I have a little trepidation. And the Astros are still a team I fear until they're just not there. They're just kind of that team, despite what's going on with their roster and everything. They're going to have to lose in order for me to believe they're going to lose, right? I can't count them out until they're out. But the Rangers are the one team I'm looking at going, all right, don't sleep on that team.
They're quite good. I mean, that's a compliment, right? And when you look at it from a perspective of a team in the playoffs, let's say, there are plenty of quite good teams that end up winning it because they got hot at the right time. So I think quite good still gives you a chance to get there in the end, but it's just a matter of making sure that you don't dip below quite good.
Yeah. The Mariners hosting the Yankees tonight, and the T-Mobile Park roof looks to be open. Looks like it's a little overcast, but kind of comfortable out there. So I'm going to say it's going to be open. That's the Mariners Roof Report, brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. So we'll see. Brian Woo's got a lot on his shoulders tonight. I think I could imagine as a starter, and you've been through this, but maybe a sense of, all right, I need to right the ship here. You know, we've had 4 starts in a row where the starters have not been able to get to the 6th inning. 5 innings each, all losses.
It's not even on his radar.
You don't think so?
No. He's saying, pitch my game. It doesn't matter what else. Like, because at the end of the day, you know that's the reality, but that isn't worth focusing on right now. Tonight is a whole new opportunity, and it's to right the ship and get back in the winning column. So I think Wu is just ready. He's ready to go out there and be, the Wu we know and attack these Yankees hitters.
Yeah, one of the positives from last night that I took away was the offense. They put up 5 runs last night. They scored a total of 7 in 3 games against the Blue Jays. And you're going, oh, boy, is this, there are a lot of people going, see, there's the offense. There's the real offense. I'm like, come on, it's one series. So it was nice to see them hit some home runs with Julio, obviously, with Cal, with Polanco. 5 runs, typically, you're going to win a lot of games. You score that many runs. So that made me feel a little better. Now, Fried is a different beast out there. We'll see how tough the offense is to come by. I'm excited for the pitching matchup, but that gave me a little bit of confidence seeing the offense do that last night.
Absolutely. Scoring some runs late in the game, still fighting. I mean, that's honestly a lot of what Mariners wins have happened. It's these late inning comebacks that they're like, we're not giving up. We're in this thing, right? We're a couple hits away and a homer from being back in it. And I think last night when you saw Cal hit that homer, you go, oh, well, maybe they're onto something, right? So I think this team has a lot of firepower and can do some great things if they get some pitchers to hit.
How imposing is this lineup? Were you ever intimidated as a pitcher when you saw a team come in going, oh, my God, there's no breaks in this lineup? Or did you feel the same way about lineup A versus lineup, whether it's the A's or the Yankees?
I think you got to kind of put it out of your mindset as much as you can. Yeah, and it's great pitching against the Yankees and facing Hall of Fame hitters and, great teams and whatnot, but that your job right now is to get all these guys out. Or if you're a hitter, I'm going to try and, get a base hit or two and score some runs. So you try not to think about it, but sometimes you got to pinch yourself and say, oh, man, this is really cool.
You weren't trying to be extra fine or anything against the Yankees?
No.
No. Yeah, all right. That's going to do it for us. I want to thank our guest today, Jon Morosi, Dylan Moore, and, of course, Charlie Furbush, Ryan Rowland-Smith, Shannon Dreher, all joining us on the program. If you missed any part of today's show, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture, click on that. It's right there. We're going to join you after tomorrow's early game with Wyman and Bob right here, Seattle Sports on 710.
After a month as baseball's hottest team, the Mariners have hit a bump in the road.
Julio back. He spins around at the wall, makes a leap. It's gone.
Tough one all around tonight.
I found myself thinking about these 2 Dan Wilsons.
So I'll just stick with the confidence building, Dan. Wants these guys to be empowered.
Tonight, he's been the Mariners' ace so far this season. Can Brian Wu deliver a sorely needed dub? Mariners, Yankees. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners. Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later on your timeline. No showings, no double moves. Plus, Orchard handles all home repairs for you, attracting buyers. Buy before you sell and get top dollar with Orchard. Visit orchard.com for your free home valuation. That's orchard.com.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to communitytransit at ctgo.org/home run.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile, well, they have Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and out on the go. So get the same reliable network in the places you need it the most. Maybe the coffee shop, the grocery store, or at the game. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for a year with no contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T Plus. Ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G, Internet Plus One, unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus One, unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. I'm excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my type of people. I met with Ray, Chris, and Nick at my home recently about getting our windows replaced. We've been in our home for over 20 years, and virtually every window has a broken seal. We talked about Harley Exteriors and their exclusive, high-quality Eurovinyl Olympic Series window. It's manufactured right here in Washington. They're designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. It's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And through May, buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Harley Exteriors are big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners. Get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY, HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle